Hello, and welcome to the Mild and Lazy Guys podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Matt.
I'm Andrew.
And on today's episode, we are packed full of goodness.
Early on.
All right, we've got a big announcement regarding the show and some stuff going on with the show. We've got junk mail. We've got questionable behavior from the internet. We've got our Mount Rushmore, which this week we're talking about our favorite college athletes. No movies this week, but we are going to talk a little Big Brother. And we're going to kind of preview how we're going to handle movies going forward. In sports, the Cowboys are in camp. Our favorite time of the year, probably, other than draft. We've got some audio from Jerry Jones getting emotional at his press conference. We've got audio from Ezekiel Elliott. And we're going to talk about the crazy chaos going on in college football regarding Texas and OU. And then we'll wrap it up with what are we watching and what are we listening to. But before we get started, can I please ask you to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and iTunes? Even if you want to give us a 1-star rating, every rating helps. So don't give us a 1-star.
No, don't do that.
But please go rate and review us and give us a follow on Spotify. If you listen on Spotify, there's a little follow button. When you search our name, hit the follow. That helps us. And follow us on Instagram, at Mild and Lazy, on Instagram. And I guess let me get the big news out of the way regarding the show. We have dropped merch. Oh, wrong button. We have dropped merch. Wrong button. It's been too long. I meant to do this one.
That one makes more sense.
Yeah, not this
That's
one.
a big announcement.
No, we dropped merch. So there's a link in our bio on Instagram. We've got T-shirts, hoodies. We've got kids' T-shirts. We've got baby onesies.
For all the baby listeners out there.
Hey,
I'm going to get one for my kid.
You got a baby
like it
coming.
or not. Yeah, she's going to wear it.
Me and Lauren have a good friend that just had a baby boy that was born. Guaranteed I'm getting that little guy one.
Absolutely.
Have him repping. We've got crew socks. What else?
More stickers coming in?
We got more stickers coming in.
We got to add the podcast. I told them with it just saying Mild and Lazy Guys with our picture, we just look like a couple of assholes who decided to make stickers of ourselves.
No.
You got to have the emphasis that it's for a podcast.
They're already ordered.
Okay, cool.
They're already ordered.
Well, I got the original right here.
Yeah, they're already ordered. And I believe I do have some stickers up on the show. Let me see, or up on the store. Let me double check before I run my mouth. Yep, I've got stickers on the website.
How much do you sell for a single sticker though? Like $1?
$4.
$4 for a sticker?
It was the lowest I could go.
Jesus.
And again, let me emphasize,
that's an expensive sticker.
Right. But it was the lowest they would allow me to go.
But on the other hand, T-shirts are cheap, like $15. Hoodies like $25, so that's reasonable.
I didn't want to make any profit. I think on the hoodies we're making 77 cents on a hoodie. I just really wanted to throw some merch out for you listeners if you want to rep the show. I don't want to make any money off of it. So
it's really just an ego move.
Yeah. I just want my face on the shirt.
Yeah, I just really wanted to put my face out there.
But yeah, we've got some merch up. Go check that out, please.
Yeah, that's crazy. When you sent me that link, it was unbelievable.
This is what I do.
Because you kind of surprised it to me, and I was like, I didn't know this was.
And I sent it late enough to where I was like, he's asleep. It'll be a nice surprise when he wakes up. So
very surprising to see ourselves on merchandise.
This is what I do late at night. This is why I don't get enough sleep, because I'm up doing stuff for the podcast. But yeah, so we've got merch. Link is in our Instagram. I would be forever humbled if you guys went out and got some. But it's there for you guys if you want it. So with that, let's get into the show. What have you been up to, man?
Nothing exciting at all.
No?
Even though it's been a while. No. Looking forward to next week, though. We're going on a vacation next week. We're going to Lake Murray, Oklahoma with my whole family, my parents, my sister and her kids, little sister, and we're having a split cabin. So it's more like a not bougie cabins, but not roughing it. It's like right in the middle. They're like 100 years old, from FDR's New Deal. So they built these, like 100 years ago almost. But they got beds, they got air conditioning, and they got like a refrigerator. So it's enough for me.
That's all you need.
We tried to go on that vacation in February, and the Texas just froze over. So it's just nice to get away. That's going to be like all next week. Looking forward to that. We got everything prepping for this weekend. And one other thing that happened this past week is Claire had a little fucking thief come into her shop.
No way.
Yeah, so this lady came in. There's a front door and a back door. She comes in the back door, which is weird. No one goes in that way. It's usually for yoga, because half the studio's yoga studio. And the lady is like, oh yeah, I'm looking for a yoga class. And this was like at 2:00 in the afternoon. And Claire's like, no, there's no yoga classes in the afternoon. There's morning classes and evening classes. And Claire, just being like nice, considerate person, was like walking her around. She walked around the studio and was like, here's the schedule, like you can take a picture. She's like, this is, just showing her around everything. And then gave the lady her business card. And the lady was like, well, let me see your side of the shop. So she took her in there. She's just kind of bullshitting, looking around. Claire's just being nice and helpful, because she only had one other person in the studio at the time, which is like a regular. And this lady was like, well, let me look at these mosaic books over here. And it's right by like Claire's desk, which is like where the cash register is and all this stuff. So Claire was like, yeah, just sit down and look at that. And so this lady was just like sitting there for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then she's just like, she just got up and was like, okay, thanks, I'm leaving now. And Claire was like, okay, bye. And then she goes back to her desk and realized that like her whole checkbook is gone. And that this lady was just sitting there waiting for an opportunity to like Claire to turn around. And she swiped her fucking checkbook. But it was her business checkbook, and Claire was like, but I gave her my business card, because it says like Mosaic Hideaway on the check. She's like, she doesn't know what name to sign, but Claire gave her that business card. So it's just bullshit, because it's a small business. It's not like we're raking in money, like Claire just makes enough to get by, and she does what she loves. And then that lady went into like Big Lots and spent like $1,500, but Claire notified the bank, so they were like able to, I don't know, like claim it as fraudulent, but that lady still got $1,500 worth of stuff from Big Lots. And then Claire had to file like a police report, and they basically said like, yeah, that lady's been hitting up all these small businesses around town. They're like just taking whatever she can. And then she kind of hit the jackpot with a checkbook from Claire's, and Claire gave them all the information, description of the lady, description of the car, and they're like, yeah, we've gotten multiple reports, like hopefully we find her soon.
So can Claire describe her? Because I got some boys. We'll go around.
I mean,
we'll look for
I would like to. I'd like to catch her and like, whatever happens. I'm not going to do
That's terrible, man.
Like old school justice or anything like that. I'd just like to see her like actually go to fucking jail for it.
You won't, but I will. We've established many times on this podcast I'll punch a woman.
I don't remember establishing that.
Yeah, remember I can't remember what we were talking about, but I was like, something with the Cowboys. Like, if this happens, I will punch my wife. You don't remember that?
Now you're talking domestic abuse. You're not talking just like
Lauren does.
An eye for an eye. Like
Lauren does. She heard that and she was like, I can't believe you said you'd hit me on a podcast.
Hey, if the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, we're all punching wives.
Dude, you won't see me for 3 days. Like, I'll go disappear in the wilderness. Like
in celebration,
yeah.
Or be hiding from your domestic abuse?
No, in celebration. Like, I'll come back with like just wearing underwear and like all dirty. Dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like,
you can eat cow shit like they did, or horse shit like in Philadelphia.
We'll get to Philly. I got a Philly story in the junk mail. So nothing else other than getting stole from?
Nothing. No. My truck's about dead. Think the transmission's going out. Probably going to be cruising around a sweet minivan here soon.
Dude, that's going to be so awesome.
I'm selling the Bronco, so I'm going to sell that and take what I can and buy like a 2004 Dodge Caravan.
I'll keep an eye out for you, man. So yeah, nothing really going on with me. I did get to go to the Dallas Card Show last week, which was pretty cool. It was up in Allen. Me and my brother and Landry, my son, went. And so yeah, we drive up to Allen, and we park across the street in a parking garage. And when I turned on the street, I kind of noticed like a police car like sitting in the middle, like in the they had like 2 lanes on each side and like a middle turn lane. And I thought, okay, well, he's just here, kind of probably helping direct traffic, make sure nobody gets hit, by a car or whatever, just directing traffic. And then we're walking up, and then I see 2 or 3 more police cars under like the awning, because it's kind of like a hotel where they've got the, you pull up and, they've got the awning, or I guess it's like an awning or whatever. So we walk in the front door and we actually follow in a cop. And so 2 other cops are already sitting there talking to a guy, and he's got like a vendor badge around his neck. So he's there selling cards. And somebody had stolen a $5,000 Patty Mahomes rookie.
Oh, that's a good choice, though.
Yeah. So that was the first thing. So we walk in, we see that, and I didn't really know what to do. There's people kind of milling about. You're in this lobby. There's like a bar / kind of restaurant deal. There's, kind of tables outside, and I didn't know where to go. And I saw some people walking ahead of me, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just walk this way. So we walk in, and we get to this where everybody's kind of going into this room, and we walk in, and I was like, holy crap, there's probably 30, 40, 50 tables in this room. I was like, that's pretty cool. So we start walking around and looking at all the cards, and it's just kind of overload. You just don't know where to start.
Right.
You don't know what to look at. There's just, everything you can imagine: football, baseball, basketball.
Like Kid in a Candy Store.
Oh, for me,
so you don't know where to start. Just
for me, yeah.
Wander.
And so we're kind of walking around. I kind of walking that like the perimeter of it, trying to find. I wanted to get Landry taken care of first because he wanted Pokemon stuff. So I'm kind of looking for Pokemon tables, and they've kind of got them scattered along the outside. And then I see this guy over the corner with a couple people around him, and there's like a line in front of him. So I don't think anything of it. I'm just kind of walking. I kind of walk over there, and I happen to be kind of standing next to the guy, and I look over. I was like, I tap my brother on the shoulder. I was like, it's fucking Mike Madonna, dude. Mike Madonna was there signing autographs. First of all, let me tell you something. Beautiful man.
Oh, handsome as hell.
Dude.
Still to this day,
he looks like he could strap on the skates and play right now. He was in great shape. Taller than I thought.
Yeah?
Tall dude.
Just
probably
on the skates.
6'2", 6'1", 6'2". I just thought, I don't know, I always thought he was a smaller guy, but looked great. Kevin Hagelin was there from 105.3 from KNC Masterpiece. He was there doing live break. He's a big card guy.
Yeah, I remember him like promoting it during the week.
I think him and Bassick are like the resident kind of card guys.
Yeah, Bassick for sure
on the fan.
Yeah,
but he was up there doing live breaks with this one company. So I saw him. Literally almost ran into Tim Kalishaw. And if nationally people would know him from Pardon the Interruption. Around the Horn.
Yeah.
But we know him here as a...
Yeah, he's been with Dallas Morning News for like 25 years.
He's a writer for the Dallas Morning News. But yeah, so we're walking around this room, and, Landry's T-ball team is the Cubs, right?
Mm.
So I'm wearing the Cubs hat. And this guy stops me, and he's like, hey, man, hey. I'm like, yeah. And I walk over, and he's got, stuff out, and he's like, here, take this card. And it's like some Cubs player, because I guess he assumed I was a Cubs fan. But it was an auto. It was a triple patch auto card numbered to like 99.
He gave it to you?
Yeah, he gave it to me.
Shit, that's
Ian Happ, maybe?
Maybe.
Never heard of him. But
Still,
he gave it to
cool.
me. He's like, so you guys having a good time? I was like, oh, yeah, we're having a great time. He's like, have you been to the other room yet? And I'm like, other room? He's like, oh, yeah, this is nothing. Go around the corner. That's the big room. I was like, this is a small room? He's like, yeah. So we make our way to this other room, and it's the picture that I showed you.
Yeah.
There's probably...
As far as the eye can see.
There's probably 600 tables there. And I had an overload, man. Like, I couldn't...
As if you didn't know where to begin before.
Yeah. I couldn't... I just didn't know. I didn't check probably a quarter of those tables.
Just ran out of time.
And, I kind of knew Landry had kind of lost his interest.
I would tell Ben and Landry to go wait in the car.
I almost did.
Like, I'll be here. I'll be done in an hour.
I didn't want to do that to Ben. But yeah, and I saw a $12,000 deal go down, and then I saw a $30,000 deal go down. And you've got people...
They pay like cash, like right there?
Yeah.
You walk into the briefcase.
Well, people
were
walking around with these big, like, cases that held either cash or cards.
Damn.
Which, same thing. I mean, if you're walking around with $100,000 worth of cards.
Yeah.
And then I got on YouTube a couple days later and typed in Dallas Card Show, and there was $200,000 deals going down at that show.
A $200,000 deal?
Yeah.
What was it?
Don't know. I just saw the little headline. But yeah, I was like...
it's crazy how that market's like... Because that was something we did as kids is like just fun, because I like to just look at the back. you know, I'd always look at the stats and read about each player, and now it's like, now I realize, like, no, there's actually value in these, depending on, you know, the rarity and the player and
so
what year.
This guy had soccer cards, and he had a graded Leo Messi Kaboom, which is a certain type of insert. And
I'll put your kids through college.
I was like, hey, man, what are you taking for that Messi right there? He's like, 4,000. I was like, all right, see you later. Have a good day. All right, I'm out of
Okay,
here.
I was just double checking.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually bought $3,000 with me.
Yeah,
so.
let me go check with my my finance manager and see if
Yeah,
we can send
right.
that. But it's crazy money,
But you
man.
buy that expecting it to appreciate in value.
Yeah, and
That's why I tell Claire, is like, it's an investment, you know, like it's gonna work out down the line.
it is. But now it's if you don't have them slabbed or graded.
Slabbed. Never heard
Yeah,
of that.
that's what the graded, plastic hard cases that they come
called a
in.
slab?
It's called a slab.
Oh, I like having them graded.
Yeah,
I
but-
got some cards I really need to send in, man.
But now even card grading, you can't get cards graded.
I heard it takes like a year
It
because
takes-
they're so backlogged.
And the pricing of them, you pay like PSA, which is the gold standard in grading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
that's a lot of you. If you get a card graded, like on eBay, and you get it, it'll say PSA. That's pretty much who does.
PSA is the
majority.
gold standard, and there are other companies that do
Like
it, but
Beckett.
Beckett,
Yeah,
and they're gonna escape me. But
those are the only two I really know about. That's how rare it is. But PSA is like
PSA
like
is
you
the gold
said,
standard. They have such a backlog that you cannot get. Like they had a $20 service, a $50 service per card, and then like $100 service.
Is that like priority list? Like if you pay the 100, you'll get it back quicker.
It's tiers. Like the $20 per card service is like 180 days.
God.
But even that, those aren't even. They don't offer me.
And do
more
they
'cause there's-
guarantee its safety? Like if I
Yeah.
send it off to you,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it back
Yes.
eventually.
Yes.
Okay.
But they don't even offer those services anymore because they're so backlogged. The only way you can get a card graded is like $200 a card. I have so many I want to get graded.
Oh, I could think of at least 10 or 12, but that'd be thousands of dollars.
And you can go to these lower tiered ones. Like there's this one really cool. I think it's called like HGA. It's like Hybrid Grading Authority, and they're really cool. They color match the. You know how it's got like a the information little card at the top where it says what year,
yeah.
the name, the grade. They color match that to the card. So if you have like a black and orange card, the color card, the info card at the top will be black and orange.
That sounds cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's just
but,
they don't have the reputation or
and they're not
prestige.
valuable. Like the same exact card graded to 10, a PSA will be worth like 1,000. That HGA would be like 300 because they don't have the reputation. They don't have their.
But all it would take is more people going to HGA to build
Yeah.
up their reputation.
But it was, and I was talking to a guy. They came in from St. Louis area, and I was like, I bought some Score, which Score is like the Hyundai or Kia of the.
Hey man, my wife drives a Hyundai. It's reliable.
It's
efficient.
not a desired brand in cards. It's not Prism. It's not
Right.
it's lower.
It's kind of like
end.
the scraps. Like
Yeah.
when you look at a pile of cards, all the prisms are gone and all that, and it's like, oh look, here's a Score.
Yeah, but I like the look of them. They look old school, and it's what I can afford. And so I was like, man, I'm a broke dude in the wrong hobby.
It's a good one if like to start off on. Like if you're gonna
Yeah.
start a hobby of getting cards, like start with some Scores or some Donruss or something.
So I bought some Score, and then I bought us each, that box of Prism
yeah, I opened mine just now.
draft picks. But it was very cool. First time to go. They got another one coming up early August. I think we're going to try to go to.
Going on Sunday, I hope.
Yeah. So
I already talked to Claire about it.
so that's what
That's
you
what
went
I
in
went
there?
in there for. I was like, hey, August 8th, like I think I'm going to Allen with Matt. She's
Yeah.
like, what's going on? Cards? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, very cool. Still doing. We're wrapping up T-ball season, and it's kind of unfortunate because he's finally now getting the swing of
Seems
things.
like it was a quick season.
It was only
it was like-
eight games.
Oh wow, that's a really quick season.
Yeah. So, but it was funny. He's kind of like the fan favorite. 'Cause
he's a showman.
he's a showman. He's very kind of animated. So last night he went 2 for 3 last night, and he scored a run. And when he scored the run, like we were, he crossed home plate and then he took his helmet off. And you know how like professional athletes are like, yeah, you know, when they do something good.
Yeah.
Landry like ripped off his helmet. He's like, yeah, yeah. And he goes in the dugout and he's like, yeah. And he like slams his helmet down. He's like, rah!
Damn.
Dude, he acted like a madman. And all the family and all the parents and stuff, they're just cracking up laughing. They're cheering him on. And Landry's like, yeah. He's got eye black on, you know, he looks like a savage. But
Just little old Landry just working the crowd. I can't wait.
yeah, man. So
He's got fall ball coming up, right?
he's
play
got fall ball.
I'll go to a fall ball game. I'm not sitting out that heat. Not for even my
dude,
child.
we got really lucky this season. Like the first game was super hot, but the rest of the games, like we haven't had a 100-degree day yet.
Yeah, no.
Last night our game was at 8. It was actually pleasant. It wasn't bad at all. But yeah, he's got fall ball. I said, hey, man, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to play baseball again. So baseball may be our thing for a while.
That's
I
cool.
even was like, hey, man, do you want to play flag football? He's like, no, I want to play baseball,
He wants to focus on one sport. It's smart.
which I don't agree with. I mean, I want him to play anything and everything he wants.
I think you should play as many sports as you want unless you have the skill to really further that, you know, and then it's like maybe sophomore, junior year, focus on one.
Yeah. So,
But I wouldn't pigeonhole a kid right now.
No.
No, let them do whatever
Even
they want.
professional athletes will tell you, making your kids specialize in a sport is the worst thing they can do because
They'll get burnt out.
that and there's skills and attributes that you pick up in other sports that
Absolutely.
will help you. In
Like you
know,
get
whatever.
hand-eye coordination from baseball that
yeah,
can apply to
if
other
you play
sports.
soccer, it'll help you with your footwork.
Yeah, footwork, exactly.
You know your acceleration, your burst. So I mean, whatever he wants to play. I threw flag football out there to him today, and he was like, "No, I want to play baseball." But I think I'm gonna get him to watch a couple YouTube videos of like some flag football going on, and he might change his mind. You know. But yeah, so just baseball, and then we'll
Show them some of your old highlight reels.
I don't have any, unfortunately.
I got some old, they made our own personal football cards back in the day when we were
that's
the
cool.
Silver Hawks and the Black Hawks and all that.
Yeah.
I got mine, but I'm not wearing my glasses, so my eyes wandering, and I have big Randy Moss pads on that are eating my whole head. I look
how they fit back in the day, though.
stupid, dude. It's a classic picture because I'm crooked eyed and my pads are up to my ears, and I was like, number 40, safety.
Oh man! All right, so with that, dude, I don't want to screw this up. I don't remember what the mail segment was. No.
Oh shit! I think it's that one.
All right, let's get to the junk mail. All right, and I've got one. Like I said, Philly makes an appearance. Philadelphia, the beautiful city of Philadelphia, makes a appearance in the junk mail. Headline reads, and this is from the Philadelphia Inquirer: shooting at Pat Stakes allegedly over football leaves one man dead. Only in Philly
Or Florida.
Yeah, Florida. Yeah,
Florida can qualify for anything in this news segment, but
headline or the story reads: one man is dead after an overnight shooting at the popular Pat's King of Steaks in South Philly. Police said the shooting happened around 1 a.m. Thursday after two men got in an argument while waiting in line for food at 9th and Wharton Streets. According to Pat's general manager, Tom Francano, the two men were fighting in part about football. One was an Eagles fan and one was a Giants fan. Quote, they were arguing and it turned into a fight, Francano said. One guy grabbed the other guy and got him in a grip, and the other guy pulled out a gun and shot him in the torso. It was one shot. The cops came right away. The shooter fled but was later arrested outside Independence Hall in Center City. The 23-year-old victim was rushed to the Jefferson Hospital where he died a short time later, police said. Pat's closed for about 4 hours while police investigated, but by Thursday morning, business had returned to normal at the iconic eatery. Customers were lining up for steak sandwiches, and a pasta sauce truck showed up to make a delivery.
back to business as usual.
Hey, man, you know.
The truck showed up. So
wipe up the blood.
So which one died, though? The Eagles fan or the Giants fan?
It doesn't say. It doesn't say which one.
Well, lose, I guess.
Doesn't say which one.
They're probably arguing who's going to suck the most this year.
Yep. It says this was the first shooting on Pat's property. Quote, the city is pretty violent anymore. We need to do something about it. Maybe too many guns, Francano said. Quote, sad, it's happening all over. 2 years ago, Sixers forward Mike Scott got into a scuffle with an Eagles fan tailgating outside Lincoln Financial Field wearing a Washington football team jersey. In 2015, an Eagles fan threw several punches at a Giants fan in a booze-fueled fight in a SEPTA station, which I guess is their public transit, after
disgusting.
a game. In 1983, Zima Williams, better known as Chief Z, an unofficial Washington mascot, suffered a broken leg and was left in a wheelchair for a year after an Eagles fan assaulted him following a loss at Veterans Stadium. Williams, who died in 2016, sued the Veterans Stadium security firms and ultimately won a $14,000 judgment.
Not worth it.
They
also
just
threw batteries at Santa.
I was
going to
say that just didn't even begin to describe how miserable and worthless Philadelphia Eagles fans are. They booed Michael Irvin. They threw batteries at Santa.
Well, they only did boo Michael Irvin. Like, he basically was paralyzed for a moment and had to retire, and they still like cheered, and they more cheered him.
Sorry, yeah, they cheered
and
him.
Like they cheered the injury on. And yeah, Michael Irvin had to immediately retire after that with like neck injuries, like damn near paralyzed.
Yeah, so Philly, you're disgusting people. Your women are ugly. Your football team sucks. Your city sucks.
Yeah, but It's Always Sunny. I love that show.
Yeah,
I mean, come on,
great show.
Like I said, I would go anywhere to watch a game. I'm not going to Lincoln Financial as a Cowboy fan. Like I respect their craziness enough to where it's like I'm not going in. I'll go undercover as like an Eagles fan just so I can.
I think that's the closest we have to like European soccer, European football hooliganism.
Hooliganism.
Who let the owl in?
That's a bad word to stutter on. Okay, you got me.
Bruh. All right. So next, excuse me. Oh, I got that on audio.
What you get.
That's that gas station sandwich.
Oh, dude, yeah. Matt brought a gas station sandwich in here. I was like, dude, we have food. Nope, got a sandwich right here.
Dude, I'm always starving.
It looks so nasty.
Dude, on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the nastiest, it was about a 3 or 4. It wasn't bad, dude.
I made a delicious peanut butter and jelly sandwich, so I can't. It's not like I had some great meal. I had a sandwich as well, but I had like my own little sandwich. I had some chips.
It wasn't bad.
I got to sit down.
But
Matt was just power eating this slimy gas station.
It wasn't slimy, dude. I'm always starving when we come over here.
You know I got food. All you got to do is ask.
I know. Okay. So if you guys ever want to know what kind of prisoner I would be, this story, if I ever went to prison, this next story is going to tell you what kind of prisoner I would be. Headline reads, Swedish prisoners take guards hostage, demand a pizza as ransom. 2 Swedish prison guards were held hostage for 9 hours on Wednesday by 2 inmates demanding pizza as ransom and were released when the food was delivered, a spokeswoman for the penitentiary told AFP. Neither guard, quote, was hurt and were able to return safely to their family, prison spokeswoman Stina Lyles said. The inmates, both doing time for murder at the Hallby High Security Prison near the town of, I'm not going to do that, Eskilstuna?
No.
Eskilstuna, managed to force themselves into an area reserved only for guards at about 12:30 p.m., said another prison official, Torkel Omnal. They took the 2 guards hostage who were in the area at the time. Quote, we quickly sent in a mediator and called the police. Why would they call the police? You are the police.
Yeah, you're the police of that place for sure.
According to Swedish media reports, the hostage takers made 2 demands: a helicopter to escape and 20 pizzas for the other inmates. Quote, yes, the pizzas were delivered, jail spokeswoman Lyles said. The 2 inmates were taken to the police station for questioning for quote unquote kidnapping, police said. So if you ever want to know what that one through. We want a helicopter,
and
full
a pizza.
tank of gas.
No, 20 pizzas. Yeah, he's right. We want 20 pizzas. It's like, you have all the power, man. You want 20 pizzas? Get you 20 pizzas. And then it's like they just forgot. They requested a helicopter. They got their pizza, so they let the guards go. Like, that was your bargaining chip. Like,
it feels like the pizzas feel like an afterthought.
That was
a new
not
change
well
of clothes,
thrown out.
new identities, a fully fueled jet.
We want cable TV in the rec room.
And you know what? Throw in 20 pizzas.
And the fact that they're convicted murderers. I did not see that coming. I pictured Sweden being like, no murderers.
No,
just banks and
knives. I figured like,
oh man, what
Swedish
if they were
prison.
the Swiss Army knives killers?
Oh,
yeah, it took a twist.
I wish I had the Law and Order. Dun dun.
Oh, that would have been a good one.
Yeah, I imagine like Swedish prison, like just like the chain link, like in your backyard. You know, it's just like waist high. Like
I picture it being like a nice loft. Like each one's like.
I feel like it's just like an IKEA showroom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With like little. Like built-in cubby walls,
yeah,
for like a bookshelf.
Mm-hmm.
They got like a little fireplace in
the
each
bed
unit.
folds up into the wall to give them more space for
so
activities.
Practical. Why wouldn't you have a fold-up bed just to give you more room when you're not laying down?
I think those
Swedish
are called
prisons
Murphy
are probably
beds.
so nice.
Yeah, but apparently they can't get pizza.
Well, that's why they gotta take hostages,
take matters into their own hands.
They're like, fuck this.
We've had enough meatballs for the day. Okay.
I was gonna say Swedish food. I was like, what the hell is Swedish food?
Meatballs
and
Every time we
chocolate?
go to IKEA, we go to the cafeteria and get meatballs. They're good, dude.
Every time.
Yeah, they're good. We go to.
I've only been to
quite
IKEA
a-
like 3 times, so I guess every time I have to.
We go quite a bit.
What,
Just to
Grand
look
Prairie?
around. Yeah, just to look
Just to
around.
wander?
Yeah.
It's a good way
Landry
to kill
loves
time.
it for some reason.
He's gonna be
It's
a little
weird.
interior designer when he
He
grows
likes,
up.
you know how, because they have like the rooms like all set up, like broken down.
Yeah, like
the
a model
different
room.
rooms. Yeah, he loves going in there and just chilling.
Like, take a nap on a bed.
It's a good way to kill an hour. All right, last story. Headline reads: Nevada woman breaks into dentist office, pulls 13 teeth from patient.
Again, you could just replace Nevada with Florida.
A Nevada woman broke into a dentist office, stole money, and pulled 13 teeth from an unconscious patient on 2 separate occasions.
So I like to think she had the money. She's making her getaway, but then she sees some guy laying there, and she
like-
just backs up slowly.
You know what?
Grabs the pliers and just starts ripping teeth out. Like, this poor fucking guy probably went in for like a cavity or something. He wakes up and he's missing 13
As
teeth.
if you need another excuse to dodge the fucking dentist. Deputies allege that Lauren Ike, who is not a dentist, I like how they have to clarify
Yeah,
that,
clarify it. Not a dentist.
broke into a dental office where she had claimed she had formerly worked. Ike allegedly stole $22,860. Do they?
I guess
Dentist offices roll like that with
You
cash?
would think
Who's
it's like
paying-
if you have insurance, like you just go in and hand them your card. Like, who's
Or
walking in
if
with
you don't-
22 grand?
you just bill me, bro. I don't have like
I would
dental
have
work's
never-
expensive.
I would have never guessed that they would have $22,000 laying in a dental office.
She allegedly stole $22,861 in cash and checks during the May 3rd break-in. The Washoe County Sheriff's Office said in a press release. Meanwhile, the tooth extraction occurred on a different date than the break-in, Ike told detectives. She also admitted to using anesthetic
Anesthetic?
disposed of by the office police. So she was just high on laughing gas. That sounds terrifying.
Some giggling crazy lady ripping teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like from what was it, Black Mirror?
Yeah, it sounds like the next M. Night Shyamalan movie or some shit. I
Which
don't know.
does look pretty good. I'm
Did
gonna
you
watch
see that?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Age
go see that.
or what's it?
Old?
Old.
Yeah, that looks good.
Ike, 42, was arrested Wednesday and charged with 2 counts of burglary and 1 count each of grand larceny, conspiracy to commit help me out.
Burglarly.
Oh God,
That's a weird word.
Why do we have a podcast?
I can't even say it, man. Skip it.
And performed surgery on another without a medical license. Investigators did not say how they determined Ike to be a person of interest in the case, but they said she admitted to multiple people, including deputies, that she had performed the medical procedure. Ike, a resident of Reno, allegedly performed the extractions, quote unquote, on her own time.
When are you just pulling teeth on your own time?
She remains in custody at Washoe County Jail on a $20,000 bond, which that
How much was the bond?
$20,000,
She's got 22 laying around right now.
$2,000, she's out,
Yeah.
pulling teeth on the street again.
Just doing more work.
Terrifying, dude.
Yeah, I just imagine like you coming to from like a little haze and you just see this old crackhead like just ripping teeth out and just grinning from ear to ear. Like, how terrifying is that?
And I didn't print the picture out, but this lady looks fucking terrifying.
I can imagine how she looks like just from that story. It's not like some Sunday school teacher or like our wives, like some
No.
pleasant lady. Of course not.
No. Okay. All right. So with that, that was the junk mail. Let's move on to one of our newer segments: questionable behavior from the internet. All right. So here's the first one. Am I the asshole for telling my son he needs to pay for his own lunch while he's at work? My 15-year-old son is going to his first day at his first job tomorrow. He'll be working 7 hours and earning $56 every day for a week, free and clear of any taxes. He already has $40 before going to bed. He told me that he needed money to go to lunch. I told him to make a sandwich and take it with him. He balked, saying it's their custom to go out. I told him to use his own money and that we weren't paying for his meals at work, and that's just a part of working he needed to get used to. I would never have expected for someone to pay for my fast food lunch during my shift when I was earning my own money as a teen. Am I the asshole for this nudge into adulthood, or is this a thing now?
That's a tough one. I don't want to be the asshole, but I feel like I'm the devil's advocate.
No,
I think I would buy his inaugural like first day
Yes.
lunch, and even maybe a couple for the first week. And after that first paycheck,
yeah.
and you're making tax-free money, I'd be like, all right, man, I'll get you the first couple times, and then you're gonna pick up the habit. If you want to go out, because then he's going to go out every day, or like every other day. And I'd be like, I'll get you the first couple and then sandwiches or, Hot Pockets or something.
That's acceptable, but like, how many 15-year-old kids nowadays are taking the initiative to go to work?
I did. I had to start
Well,
working.
nowadays.
Nowadays, like we're so much older. Yeah, you're right. I bet he was pressured into that job too. Like he didn't.
Well,
I'm sure the mom was
that
like
context, but
I remember when I turned 16, my mom came home with like stacks of applications. It was like, you're getting a job right now.
I think I would pay for the first one, like you said.
Oh yeah, I would pay for the first couple.
And be like, hey man, because my thing is
because I'd be proud of him. I'd be like, man, you're taking that step. I appreciate it.
I'd be proud of him, and I would want my son to be saving money towards something, not wasting it on.
Did you save any money on your first job, or did you waste it?
I wasted on.
I wasted all of that
alcohol and weed and condoms and all kinds of shit.
You're way cooler than me. I was like DVDs and CDs and
and
Matt's over here getting laid and slamming beers back.
No, but and gas money and insurance and all that stuff, and CDs and stuff. But I don't know. I would just like, let me grab your lunch for the first couple days, or
I would definitely do it because I'd be like, you know what? I'm really proud. At 15, it's a good summer job, and it's not like you're going to do it forever. It's not if he was 24 and he was like, hey, I still need you to pay for all this, but being 15. That $40 to him is like everything. You know what I mean? Like $40 is like, you know how much I can get with $40? Like, I could understand him not wanting to dip in.
$56 a day.
Yeah, but he hasn't started yet. So
right,
that $40 is all he got. So I would say, I would be like, until you get your first paycheck, I'll pay for the first couple. We'll go to the grocery store. We'll pick out the fancy deli meats you want so you can make sandwiches every other day. But yeah, I would definitely pay for the first couple just to show that I was proud of him for taking that initiative. But then once you're on your feet, as in at week 2, you're taking sandwiches.
You've got to make a financial decision like adults do. Like, hey, do you want to waste your money on lunches every day, or do you want to, eat from home?
I'm still
save
wasting
that money?
my money on lunch, on dinner all the time. We got like Marco's Pizza, El Mexicano Grill in this week.
It just depends. The couple that goes to the grocery store and buys groceries and the couple who has to cook are two different couples with us. Because, like, we go to the store intent on buying groceries for the week and cooking at home.
Oh, yeah.
And then when it comes to cooking dinner, we're like, we don't want to.
No. We got broccoli and asparagus in the fridge. And you're like, you know what sounds really good? Kika's quesadillas.
Fucking pizza,
an elote. Yeah, or some pizza. And I'm like, I'm sold right now. Let's go get it and we'll watch Big Brother.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and most of the days, I have a thing, like I go out on Fridays. That's my one day at work when I go out to eat.
And for me, I always have to eat like at work, like in my car by myself, which sounds depressing, but it's really not. But then when we get home, because we're, you're tired.
Yeah.
Claire's not a big cooker, and if we didn't lay anything out, it's like, well, I got a coupon from Marco's right here.
That's right.
So
Lauren usually makes my lunch, or she'll pack
What a good lady.
But it's not what it seems. She's like, I know you won't make your lunch, and if I don't make it, you're going to go out every day. And I'm like,
She's still looking out for you.
You're right.
So he's like, here, take this beef jerky stick. And I'm like, that was the nicest thing you've done to me all year. Thank you for this.
So most of the time, she makes my lunch, make sure I have lunch.
Nope.
So, yeah.
Two different women.
Okay, so we're pretty much, we agree on.
Oh, yeah, she should show appreciation because that, like you said, 15, 16-year-olds, even 18, 19, 20-year-olds now aren't going out and getting jobs unless they're like absolutely need to or like need to provide for the family. No one's taking that initiative. No. So I'd be proud of them. I would buy a few.
Okay, so this next one, it's a little different territory for us.
Okay.
It's relationship advice.
Oh, I'm ready.
All right.
We're whizzes at this.
We
are such studs. So our wives have been with us for a combined like 20-some years.
Yeah. So headline is, my boyfriend doesn't want to have sex with me. So here's the thing. My boyfriend, 25 male, and I, 22 female, have been together for 4 years now. After 2 years, our sexual activities reduced, which is natural in a long-term relationship. However, I felt like I needed more, so we talked about this a lot. He said that it's physically impossible for him to do it more, which I didn't believe, by the way. So I let it go.
Is that you talking, or that's what it says?
That's what it says. Oh, okay. In parentheses.
Gotcha.
He said that it's physically impossible for him to do it more, and then in parentheses says,
which no guy has ever said ever.
No.
No, I'm never like, you know what, Claire? I think I'm good on sex this week. Let's just roll over and read a book.
Yeah,
never gonna say that.
Nope. Until now, We only have sex like once a week or even less, and I feel like total shit. When I try and initiate sex, he always tells me no, so I don't even try anymore. I don't have any confidence at this point because it seems like he doesn't want me. He gets angry and frustrated when I ask him if he wants to have sex, and this made me feel angry and this made me feel disgusting and like a freak for needing it. Even if we do it, it seems to me like he only cares about his own pleasure. The intercourse is over after he finishes, even if I don't. It feels like he doesn't even care about me or my needs, and I feel helpless. Other than this, our relationship is pretty good. We rarely fight. We've been living together for 1.5 years now. We go on dates. We have fun. This is why I have no idea what to do. I've also noticed that he's not as cuddly as he was before. If I don't snuggle up to him at night, he won't come to me. Last night after I came home, he was watching some videos on his phone. I asked him to put his phone down and pay attention to me since we didn't see each other all day. He basically shouted at me that he wouldn't put it down and he didn't want to have sex with me, even though I only wanted to cuddle for a few minutes before falling asleep. I really feel hurt and confused. How do I talk to him about this again? What do I say so that I don't hurt his feelings so that he can understand how I feel? I feel like I'm pushing him to have sex with me. He always tells me that I have such a high sex drive and he can't keep up. Frankly, he doesn't even try to meet my needs. I just want to come to a compromise. I want him to meet me halfway. Also, sorry for my mistakes. English isn't my native language, which there weren't.
No, you read that well.
So yeah, I don't.
Break it down, Matt. What you thinking?
I don't know. We all have our individual love languages, and that's a term that is new to me.
That's like a Dr. Phil term right there.
It's a term that's new to me because I think we all get in these ruts where, yeah, you're right. It does slow down after a time. You know, you get kids, you get full-time
but they're still
jobs.
like early 20s.
Early 20s, no kids, not married.
That was red flags to me because I could understand. Yeah, once you start having kids, that's understandable. And once you're working like both, full-time jobs, because you get home and
you almost have to schedule it in. Like, okay, Thursday night, 9 p.m., we'll start foreplay.
Which every lady loves a good scheduled sex time.
by 9:13, we should be watching Conan or something. I don't know. Why did I say that? I don't know. Nobody watches Conan anymore.
No, we're a Jimmy Fallon family.
Okay. We're watching Netflix by 9:13.
Absolutely. Just a broad statement.
Foreplay at 9:13, we're wrapped. Everything's wrapped up.
Yeah, I'm grabbing the M&Ms by 9:15.
That's right. So, girl, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know either because I didn't expect this. I didn't expect the guy, which I understand, like you said, sex drives vary, and you just assume like all guys are horny and want to always have sex, but that's not the case. But to be like, she has to beg for at least once a week, like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe something's up with that guy.
Maybe his love language is like acts of service. Like maybe she needs to figure out obviously her love language is physical touch and being sexual. So maybe she needs to figure out what does it for you? Does it acts of service? Is it like reassuring you like verbally? Is it something else? Tell me what I need to do to put you in the mood or to make you feel loved. And maybe that's the key to unlock kind of the sexual aspect of it.
Yeah, they definitely got to have like a conversation because, and the fact that how like she feels bad about all this, like he makes her feel like she's like some sex fiend or something, like that's not good for her.
I would get it if it was like 3 times a day, every day.
Oh, totally. Yeah, if you were like constantly always trying to get it, but she just wants it at least once a week, if not more, which like you said, like that's kind of normal to be like once or twice at least a week. It's not like it's, hey, let's pull over here on, in this sidewalk and let's do it right here. Right. Be like, nah, that's pretty weird.
Right. So
she's just kind of asking for like the minimum.
Yeah. I think she's just, like she said, she wants to come to a common ground. Like,
and obviously she still loves him and they still get along, but like that's a big part of your relationship.
And, it may be the sad reality of, he's 25. They've been together since he was 21 and she was 18. Maybe, I know for me, what I wanted at 18 or 21 is different than what I wanted at 25, 26, 27, so maybe it's just a thing of they're growing apart and that just totally does it for him, like
he needs to bring that
out
up
of it. Then he needs to step up.
Because right now she feels like shit because of it, because he's not telling her everything.
Yeah, he needs to step up and just be like, hey, this is the deal. Like, I want something else, because you're getting to that territory now where, like, it's shit or get off the pot. Like, you're going to really break this girl's heart.
Yeah, especially if you just drag it on.
Yeah. So, Not that she's ever going to hear this. This is a random story off the internet. So,
Not that
yeah.
many people ever hear this, but
No, but yeah, sounds like they just needed to sit down and have a heart-to-heart, and he needs to be honest. That's the main thing. So what'd you think about it? You like the relationship advice?
yeah, of course.
I wish we could have people submit it so they could put our feedback into use. But yeah.
I mean, we don't know where this lady even came from. Obviously, she's not American.
This is from Reddit.
From the internet.
Okay. With that, let's get into our Mount Rushmore.
Sweet.
And as I mentioned in the open, this week we're talking about our favorite college athletes of all time.
Now, when you say athlete, do you mean football player?
Sorry. Favorite college football
I was like,
player.
I don't have like any basketball players.
I wrote that down wrong. Favorite college football player.
I was thinking, man,
Of all
Matt's
time.
going to be like really broad and like look so diverse. In
Newt
this.
Rockne. He was a 5-star or 5-sport athlete. No, favorite college football player. I'm going to let you go first.
Well, I told you would never guess this first one. And then on the very first guess, you got it, which blew my mind because it's Chris Winkie, the quarterback from Florida State from like 1999 to 2000. I put on here, he was the ACC Player of the Year, ACC Offensive Player of the Year, Johnny Unitas Award winner, Davey O'Brien, and the Heisman all in 1 year in 2000.
Let's mention he was like 28 at the time.
Yeah, because this is the best part. He was a USA Today High School All-American in 1989. So he was like a 2-sport athlete. He decided to pursue baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Actually pretty close to making it to baseball, but then, like a lot of times when you get drafted, they'll be like, we'll set you aside a college fund so you can always go back. And I guess when he was probably AAA, he's like, fuck it, I'm going to go play college football at Florida State. And Florida State was just powerhouse at that time. It was like peak Bobby Bowden years, like those 90 years. He was actually the college football champion as an Alabama offensive analyst in 2017, so he's coaching now.
Oh, cool.
And he beat Michael Vick in Virginia Tech 46-29 in the 1999 BCS championship.
That's crazy.
And he went on to play in the NFL, but he wasn't shit. But I was a big
For the
Florida.
Panthers.
Was it?
Yep.
I was a big Florida State fan before I betrayed my Seminoles and went over to Miami because I was just, when you're young, you're just a bandwagon fan. And those teams had like the best teams in the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah, I got a couple Florida State guys.
Dude, I have a picture from when I'm about 12 years old. I'm holding a miniature Pomeranian puppy that my sister had named Trixie.
I already like this visual.
And I'm like turned like this way, like looking over my
like
shoulder.
You're in a glamour shot.
Yeah, glamour shot, big round glasses, holding a puppy, and I'm wearing my Chris Winkie jersey. And I was like, that might be the greatest picture I've ever taken in my life.
Oh my God.
Like, I'll never forget that. And I wish I still had that jersey, dude. All it was, he was number 16.
Yep.
So it was just a Florida State color. It had this, all the cool little things on the side. And then it was just 16 with Winkie on the back. And I was like, I thought I was the coolest
Thought you
fucking
were the
guy
coolest
with this
kid on the
Chris
block.
Winkie jersey. Yeah, and everyone's like, who the fuck is Chris Winkie? I was like, you wouldn't get it, man. He's beyond you. He was like a 29-year-old rookie. But he was great, man. I was big Florida State, Miami fan. So I got a couple more on there, but you go.
And they're not ranked other than this one. I have a number 1, and then they're not ranked after that. LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yep.
TCU. One of my first college football games I ever went to was TCU SMU. And my older brother took me because he knew I was such a big LT fan. I think he rushed for like, I don't know, like
Literally
something stupid.
450. Like you could say 400 and I would believe it.
He's got the single game rushing record.
I thought somebody broke it.
Let me double check.
I thought somebody broke
But
it,
yeah.
and then like a week later somebody else broke it.
But yeah, no, LaDainian Tomlinson
Like San Jose State running back or some shit.
was he's my
Matt's typing on the
Sorry, I'm
computer.
typing.
That's why he's dragging ass.
he wore number, and that was like kind of the first time where I kind of noticed like college players could wear different numbers in the NFL. He wore number 5 for TCU. TCU was my favorite college football team growing up, and he was just the man. He was just
He
so
really was. He
good.
put TCU on the map. Was that
Yeah.
Gary Peterson or Patterson?
No, he actually played for dadgummit, Francione, Dennis Francione, I believe. I think he was an ex A&M coach.
You
Sorry.
are losing it trying to look at this computer.
November 20th, 1999, he rushed for 406 yards.
I told you it could be 400 and I would totally believe it.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you. Could you please repeat what you said?
The fuck was that?
I think it's my phone. I think Siri's trying to get in the conversation. Yep, it was Siri.
That's creepy. Who holds the record now, though? Or don't look it up. It'll take you long. Unless you
No,
want me
no.
to go for my second while you're doing that.
Oh gosh.
Ah, jeez.
Tony.
Everybody knows that guy.
Melvin Gordon in
Was that Wisconsin?
2014 with 408 yards.
Somebody else broke it, man.
Jarrett Patterson for Buffalo in 2020 with 409 yards.
And then did somebody else break it right after that?
Samaje P. Ryan in 2014, 427 yards.
Oh, that was Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, yeah. So
I remember like somebody
against
broke
Kansas.
it and then like broke it. Of course, it was Kansas.
yeah.
They could have put the Kansas
but
football
no,
team out.
LaDainian Tomlinson, he's from Waco. He was just the man. He ended up he's a Hall of Famer, college Hall of Famer, and pro NFL Hall of Famer.
High school, college, pro,
Yeah.
everywhere he went, Hall of Famer.
And he's
Hall of Fame guy.
He's a really humble dude.
Yeah.
He's just and hands down number one, my favorite college football player of all time.
Well, he's up there with Winky. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, because I kind of went my position, so I went with the running back next too. I'll give you who I had, but then I took him away. It was, see if you remember, Marcus Lattimore, South Carolina.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was a big Marcus Lattimore fan, but then he blew out his knee.
Yeah,
So-
badly.
Yeah, like ruined his career. So I went with the guy that was actually more exciting to watch, and that was Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush in college was just
Yeah.
on another level. He was a two-time All-American, two-time Pac-12 Player of the Year in 04 and 05. He won the 05 Heisman, AP Player of the Year, the Walter Camp, and the Doak Walker Award, two-time national championship. And I got here's his 2000 stats from when he won the Heisman. 200 attempts, so only 200 attempts, 1,740 yards. That's 8.7 per carry. That's 16 touchdowns. He also had 37 receptions for 470 yards and 2 touchdowns. That year, I mean, they were just unstoppable. I believe that was the year of the Bush push. If you remember that, playing in Notre Dame, which was some bullshit when Matt Leinart, like they were like last second down. They were
They're
trying
at
to
the
keep
goal line?
Yeah, they're at the goal line. They had like a 30-something game winning streak going on, and Reggie Bush pushed Matt Leinart in, which is illegal. You know, you can't push a guy forward for progress. But they ended up losing later on that year to UT and Vince Young, who is also an honorable mention. I'll go ahead and say that. Vince Young, that was probably the greatest college football game I've ever seen. That
The
05
Rose Bowl?
Rose Bowl,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
So it's just good to see Texas win. It's great to see USC lose. But at the same time, Reggie Bush was, to me, probably the best running back I've seen in college.
I got a couple that'll rival it.
All right.
My second one, and it's somebody that's near and dear to our hearts.
Yep.
Seneca Wallace, quarterback for Iowa State.
Again, put him on the map. That's somebody else who put that team
remember-
on the map.
Just for one, the name Seneca stuck out because
He
I've
was-
never heard that name before.
And he was like a poor man's Michael Vick. Like, he
Yeah,
was
he
that
wa-
good.
He could do it. He was dual threat. He could do it with his arm, with his legs. I remember they had these badass helmets with because of the Cyclones, and they had the little tornado
Yeah.
on the helmet.
Wasn't it like with their little mascot coming out the top?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just it gave me a reason to tune into Iowa State. You know, down here in Texas, we get Big 12. It's Big 12 country, which we'll get to a little later in the
For
show.
now, it's Big 12 country.
So, you know, on Saturdays, we'd get, you know, any Big 12 game. So they kind of, for me, put Iowa State on the map. I remember whatever year that was, you know, I instantly started a dynasty with Iowa State so I could play with Seneca Wallace. But yeah, so Seneca Wallace, quarterback for Iowa State. You ended up, you know, having a decent stint in the NFL as a backup.
Seattle? Yeah, I remember
for
in Seattle
a
for a
long while. So yeah, Seneca Wallace, my number 2.
That's a good one, man. For me, it's Texas Tech wide receiver Michael Crabtree from Carter.
Carter. Yep, he's a quarterback for Carter.
He was. He was a 2-time Blitnikoff Award winner in 2007 and 2008. As a 2-time All-American, 2-time All-Big 12, and this was in 2007. So this was his first year. Because I actually have a buddy I should mention that played at SMU at work. I have a buddy at work that played at SMU at the time, and he's from Ennis, and that's where Graham Harreld went to.
Mm-hmm.
So my buddy he was still a quarterback at Ennis, and Graham Harreld was there throwing, you know, playing with them all, and he was like, you know, our best player on this team is a redshirt freshman this year. Like, he isn't even on the team yet. He's from Carter. Turns out it was Michael Crabtree, and so my buddy actually got to play a little bit with Harreld and Crabtree before he went to SMU, and he actually played with Cole Beasley and all this shit. So he's got like cool stories. But anyways, back to this. This was his redshirt freshman season or redshirt sophomore year, if he was a redshirt freshman. Anyways, these are all records still to this day. 134 receptions, 1,962 yards and 22 touchdowns in his first collegiate season.
I just remember that game. Was it Texas? Where like he caught that pass on the sideline, like tiptoed in and beat Texas like
That was
right
when
at
Texas.
the end.
That was when Texas was number 1 and Tech was like number 3.
Yeah.
I remember where I was when we watched that game.
So
dude.
do I.
And yeah, like you said, he tiptoed it in. They were in Lubbock, so they just lost their fucking minds. And they were the number 1 team in the country, but I think they lost like the next week or the week after. But that was still the biggest game in Tech history.
Yep.
They made it all the way to number 1. And Michael Crabtree, man, like again, a guy that put that team on the map. Like I know they had Graham Harrell before that and Cliff Kingsbury, but those guys were just system quarterbacks that put up yards. Crabtree, man, had a great NFL career too. Like people probably forget how good Crabtree was, but I've always been a Michael Crabtree fan. Just until Richard Sherman just absolutely like took his nuts from him.
And then Keep Delete yanked his chain off like Debo on Friday.
Like, it's all been downhill since that night in 2007, but those numbers are just ridiculous, dude. Almost 2,000 receiving yards as his first year in the college.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was a good one, man. My third one, Ricky Williams from UT. I
a
mean,
lot of yours are kind of old school. I like that.
well, what am I? 3 years older than you? 2 years?
I'm 33.
Okay, I'm a couple years older. When I was little, I didn't have much to do on Saturdays in the fall, but watch college football. But Ricky Williams, he wore 34, he wore number 11, excuse me. But he just was in that great line of Texas running backs, Earl Campbell, then Ricky, and then Cedric Benson after Ricky Williams. He was in that line, and he was he had the dreadlocks, and he was powerful. He was, now we know, he's a super chill dude. He's really into herbal medicine and chiefing on the reefer.
Sheriff for like 1960s.
Chiefing on the reefer.
Really, that's the only thing that slowed his career down because he kept getting like suspended. And
if he was playing today, it'd be no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
No problem at all. And he had the talent to be one of the top 10 running backs of all time.
Yeah, and going back to cards, I was really into cards when he came out, and I had a bunch of I still, to this day, have a bunch of his rookie cards.
Didn't he wear a dress for like his, with like a Mike Ditka photo shoot?
Yeah.
When they drafted him?
Yeah, because they were like married.
If you don't know the
to
story,
each other.
they traded their
entire
whole
draft.
They did. They traded their entire draft, like every pick they had that year, to move up. I don't even think it was that many picks, was it? It was like a handful of picks to move up. Did he win the Heisman that year too, didn't he?
Yep.
Because I remember that year he broke I think he broke a career rushing record, single season record. Like he ruled college football, and so that's why Ditka was like obsessed with taking him that year.
Yep. So
They mortgaged an entire. Imagine that now. People talk shit about if you take
giving up a 1.
Now, no, I was gonna say now they give you shit if you take a running back in round 1.
Yeah.
Imagine trading every pick, and Cowboys did it too with Herschel Walker. They got tons of picks back in
We
players.
got 3 Super Bowls back in return.
Pretty much, we did because they gave us players, but if you didn't re-sign the players, they converted to picks. So that's what they did. They had those players, they let them walk. Those all turned into draft picks, and look what we got.
Yep.
Now, if you did that, you'd be fired so fucking fast from your GM
So
spot.
Ricky Williams.
That's a good one, man. I had to go with one defensive player, and this guy in college just hung dong on everybody. Like no
Charles
one was talking.
Woodson.
Again, you're old school. Jadeveon Clowney.
Oh, okay.
He was a man among boys, even in the SEC.
I'm saying, you do want to talk about defensive players hanging dong. Didn't he win the Heisman?
Who? Woodson? He was more of a returner, though, wasn't he?
I thought he was a defensive back.
He was a defensive back, but I think he got a lot of points for
the
returning.
Heisman. Okay, go ahead. I don't want to step on your toes.
This guy was a 2-time All-American, 2-time All-SEC, SEC Defensive Player of the Year. I put down, his freshman year, 36 tackles, 12 tackles for a loss, 8 sacks, 5 forced fumbles. Next year, sophomore year, 54 tackles, 23.5 tackles for loss, 13 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. Junior year, he kind of fell off, but at that point, he was already thinking ahead for his future.
Yeah.
Because you have to be 3 years removed from high school. So at that point, he just kind of like coasted. But what I'll never forget, I believe they were playing, was it Michigan? When he like busted through the line and caught that running back in the backfield and like just
his head exploded.
his helmet flew off.
Yeah.
And I mean, I thought the guy was fucking dead. And they were like, just imagine how good you have to be to go number 1 overall. I mean, we know Myles Garrett did recently, and Myles Garrett as a pro is much better than Clowney. Like Clowney to me has been a disappointment in the league, but when he was in college playing at the highest level in the SEC, he was a man among boys, dude. He just had that grown man body. As soon as he stepped onto
At 18 years old.
At 18, as soon as he stepped on campus at a freshman,
He had an NFL body.
an NFL body that was just uncomparable to anybody else in the league.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. My last one, again, is an old school. My first Florida State appearance. Peter Warrick. I don't know if you remember him. I'm sure you do, since you said you were a big Florida State guy. But
Another dual threat quarterback.
no, he was a wide receiver.
Oh, I'm thinking of the Houston
Andre Ware.
Andre Ware.
No, Peter Warrick. You think he wore number 9? You just never knew. He was a Devin Hester light. Diet Devin Hester almost. Like, you just never knew on punt returns, kick returns, or when they got him the ball through the offense. You just never knew what was going to happen, and he could break a play at the drop of a hat. He was electric. He was just super fun to watch. He got into the league. I want to say he signed with. So he got drafted by Cincinnati. Didn't do much, but yeah, Peter Warrick. He was one of my favorite college football players to watch.
And honestly, when you look at our list, we have a lot of busts.
Yeah,
Like Reggie Bush might be or Crabtree, I guess, is the best pro on my list. But Clowney to me is a bust. Winky was too old. But Reggie Bush coming out, everyone thought was a can't miss prospect, and he turned out to be a bust in hindsight. And
I mean, that's why the jump from the college game to the pro game is just, it's the biggest crapshoot in all sports.
And then you got guys that get undrafted or 7th, 6th round and turn out to
And
be
you get
some
guys
of the
like
greatest.
Kurt Warner
Yeah,
that are
he was
literally
bagging
working at
groceries.
a grocery store, and he's one of the best to do it.
At least for that time period.
At least
he
for
didn't have
that-
the long,
for
but he
that-
took 2 different teams to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, 2 franchises that were bad franchises.
And and have barely sniffed that success since. I guess
Right.
LA a couple years ago, but yeah, I know. See what you're saying.
You got honorable mentions.
Yeah, I'll just kind of bust in real quick. Malik Hooker, which is a recent guy, like from Ohio State. I thought he was going to be the next Ed Reed.
I believe he's visiting the Cowboys.
Yeah, he's coming off like a blown Achilles or something, though. That's why a lot of people are passing on him. But him
Yep.
coming out of Ohio State, I could have swore he went like 15th overall, and I was like, this guy is can't miss prospect, Hall of Famer. And now he's like just shopping around like bargain shopping. Another guy from the U, Jeremy Shockey, tight
Yeah.
end. For some reason, and then when he got drafted by the Giants, it killed me. But
Mm-hmm.
I just loved his attitude. Like, he didn't give a shit.
Well,
you
he
know?
had the U attitude.
And he was just like the big like country boy strong. He's from like Ida, Oklahoma. So small Oklahoma town, went to Miami, got drafted, then he got drafted by a New York market. I mean, nobody could stop that guy. He was like, if you put him in the league right now, he's probably the 3rd or 4th best tight end. I just always loved Jeremy Shockey. Tyrann Mathieu, LSU.
LSU,
Um,
Honey Badger.
The Honey Badger don't give a fuck. And my last one, another guy that had his career just derailed from the U was Willis McGahee.
No, that
When you
knee
could see
injury,
his leg literally bend the other way.
it was like a 90-degree angle the other way.
Dude, it was one of the nastiest. Same with Lattimore. I was like, both those guys were going to be 10-year careers, and then
Yep.
you just see their legs just buckle the wrong way. And both of them, Willis McGahee actually played several years in the league. Like, I think he made a Pro Bowl or 2.
He did for Buffalo.
Buffalo, and I'd say he was finished with maybe the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like Lattimore never played. I
Nope.
think he got drafted, but never played.
Yep.
McGahee, good for him to come back from that injury because that was fucking nasty. But again, I got all their stuff here. Most of them were like, All Americans. Some of them were BCS champions, and then some of them just didn't work out. Shockey was kind of I don't know. Shockey was actually really good. I shouldn't say anything bad about Shockey. But what are yours? What you got?
Real quick on the first 2, because my last 2 kind of have some explanations behind them. Deion Sanders, Florida State. Again, one of the best to ever do it. Say what you want about him.
Just don't call him Dion.
No, we didn't bring that up.
What a fucking douche.
So in case you didn't hear, Deion Sanders is at Jackson State as the head football coach, and he walked out of a press conference because one of the reporters referred to him as Dion,
Which is his given name.
which is his God-given government name, instead of Coach Prime, because that's what he prefers to be known as.
And he goes, well, you wouldn't call Nick Saban Coach Nick. It's like, guy, you're not Nick Saban.
You're at
a
fucking
first-year
Jackson
coach
State.
at Jackson State. Nick Saban has, 6 national titles from 2 different teams?
And yeah, reporters call coaches by their first names all the time.
The fact that he's in it's probably one of his first ever press conferences, and he's already acting like that.
He's a fraud, dude. He's always been a fraud. That's why Prime Prep here in the Metroplex failed. He let down a bunch of kids here. He's just a fucking fraud.
I mean, he should just be like a defensive backs coach at Florida State.
He should go make weekly TV appearances on the NFL Network and then go away.
I don't think this is going to work. I could see him being a good recruiter, but
Yeah.
if you walk out of one of your first ever press conferences because they called you by your first name, get the fuck out of here, man.
Okay, you say a good
I couldn't
recruiter.
believe that.
Is he getting the number one recruit in the nation to go play Jackson State? No,
No,
they
but
want
he
to go.
was getting like guys in the top 300. How many top 300 guys did Jackson State get before he got there? And he got a couple of them.
I don't know how many before or after he's been there, but anyway. So yeah, but Deion Sanders, when prime time was born in Florida State,
He has legendary stories from him at the combine. Didn't he wear like all his chains and still run a 40
4.2.
and like 4.2?
Yeah,
which
no.
is like one of the top 5
and he'd go
fastest of
play.
all time.
He'd go play an NFL game and then turn around and play for the Yankees.
Played for the Braves because he was a Hawks. He played for Atlanta. Played for Atlanta
yeah.
Falcons and
I thought he
Atlanta
played for the
Braves.
Yankees too.
Probably later on. But
Anyway.
when he did the 2 games in one day, it was
Yeah.
both Atlanta.
Okay, cool. My next one is Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I thought about it.
You want to talk about?
I
man-
just had too many running backs, but AP.
you know, a man amongst boys. I
Yep.
think I told this story. Like I watched him play in high school at Texas Stadium during the Texas high school playoffs.
That's such a cool game to
when
claim to be
when he played for Palestine, and I know for the first quarter he didn't get touched.
There's probably no exaggeration.
He didn't
there.
get
probably
no.
didn't get touched.
He didn't
at
get
all.
touched.
No, I believe it.
So Deion Sanders, Adrian Peterson, and my third one is little known wide receiver from TCU. His name is Jason Tucker. Again,
That's Chris's brother.
yeah, everybody knows that.
Of course.
He was
Never heard of this guy.
No, he was a wide receiver for TCU. I was a big TCU fan. I watched him all through college, and then he actually got picked up by the Cowboys in like 99, 2000-ish, and he actually made it into a couple games. And he had one game where he had a lot of yards. So I actually went out and like scooped up as many rookie cards as I could.
Thinking this was a
And
prime
because for
investment.
me it was cool because my favorite college had a player that I watched playing for
On
my
your
favorite
Cowboys,
team,
right.
and so it was really cool. But
You're
then-
like, you know what? Michael Irvin just broke his neck. We need a new number 1.
so I don't think he ever played in a game
I've never
after
heard of
that.
that guy.
But his name's Jason Tucker.
Hey,
Actually,
man. He's getting his second
he,
Hall of Fame right here.
his Wikipedia is going to blow up because this mention on the podcast.
You're welcome.
My fourth one, and it's a local one for me. It's one of my classmates, somebody I graduated with. His name is Casey Fitzgerald. He went to UNT, and he actually holds 1, 2, 3, 4 UNT records for receiving.
Nice.
He holds a single season receptions record at 113.
Damn.
He holds the single season receiving yards record at 1322. He holds a single game receiving records at 327 yards. And then he holds a single game touchdown records at 5 touchdowns. And then he's third all time for 12 touchdowns in a season. He's fifth all time for single season yards at first and fifth. He's fourth all time for career yards at 2533. And then he, in a single game, he's second all time in receptions at 18, and he's also tied for fourth 3 different times with 14 receptions each. And then he's ninth all time in single game with 13. So he had in 2007 he had 13 receptions against Navy, and in 2008 he had 14 receptions against Louisiana Lafayette and Troy. And then in 2007, he had 14 receptions against Louisiana Lafayette, and then 18 receptions in 2007 against SMU.
That's awesome. You said he went to our school?
He went to Red Oak. He graduated with me.
That's awesome.
I went to junior high and high
Did he
school.
get like undrafted free agent? Did he get drafted or anything?
No, he never went anywhere, I don't believe. But
That's a fucking great career though.
he was one of those guys that you would never, you would just never know, that he was a good football player, a good athlete.
I mean, he holds school records. Those like AB numbers, like season records, like 113 catches,
Yeah.
1,300 something yards.
yeah, for a single season. And he was just a really nice guy. He was always really nice to me. He was a great basketball player, obviously a great football player.
Yeah, you're right. I would have never guessed those last two.
But yeah, he went to Red Oak. Got his Wikipedia pulled up right here. But
Oh, dude, he's got a Wikipedia page. That's cool.
yeah, man. Yeah, and then I'll show you after we're done the little all the records he holds. But no, super good dude. Casey Fitzgerald, shout out. He went to UNT. I think he's coaching football in Wiley or something like that. I think he's a wide receivers coach or offensive coach in high school now. So
They can call him Coach Casey, and he's cool with that.
I don't know about that.
I'm sure he is. He seems cool.
But yeah, so that was our Mount Rushmore of our favorite college football. That was a fun one. That was a good idea.
Yeah, I had literally had a page here. I had to like mark some out. And
Like I told
couldn't
you,
include
you're
everybody.
a damn idea machine this week. All right, so time for Pick Your Poison.
Is it my turn?
Your turn.
Okay. There's a flame right here. Would you rather have hands that keep growing as you got older or feet that kept growing as you got older?
Oh, man.
Hands.
Well, you'd be like 65 years old, like banana hands.
Exactly. I'm just slapping the shit out of everybody. I'm old. Get them away.
Like, from 5 feet away.
Exactly. Like, I'm clearing every walkway. I'm just waving my hands around.
Yeah, I'll
Because then
take
you're going to have
hands
to wear
too.
clown shoes. People can be like, look at this fucking guy with his hands. I'm like, yeah, no one's going to fuck with me.
You want to catch these hands?
Yeah, you want to
Stand over
5
there.
feet backwards and get punched from here with these
Yeah, dude.
hands?
All right, I like that.
I'm growing these hands out as long as I can.
I like that. Okay, so with that, let's move on to Big Brother talk.
Oh, man.
Okay.
We've been waiting on this.
Okay, guys. So I told you all a couple weeks ago that I was going to watch the current season of Big Brother. Andrew, last year, got his 60 seconds on Big Brother. I always teased him about it, like, okay, yeah, let's hurry up.
He kind of gave you some shit for it.
It's my time for a little break while he talks about his little Big Brother show. Let me tell you, he has created a monster.
I told you, man.
I am so into this. I am so into this that I am currently paying $4.99 a month for Paramount Plus so I can go back and watch all the seasons of Big Brother.
Yeah, I could tell you're into it because you're like, I just started season 12, and then like a couple days later, you're like, I just started season 1. Like you blew past 12. And I mean, there's a lot of episodes in these because they air
30.
3 times a week.
I think 30-ish. So yeah, I watched season 12 because I just picked a random one that was like not too.
You picked a great one too, by the way.
It was
that was
so
a good.
good,
That was a
dude.
good season.
It
That was
was
a good
so
season to
good.
get you into it.
It was like not so old to where it was kind of I wouldn't get into
No,
it.
that was like 2009 or 10.
2008.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's relatively
2000,
new.
maybe 2010. But no, it was great. I would be texting Andrew like randomly, like, I can't believe so and so did
Yeah, now I'm
this.
trying to remember. Like, well, that was 10 years ago. Let me think about it.
So I finished season 12, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back and watch season 1. Couldn't do it.
Season 1 just seems really
Completely
weird.
different game.
Do you know who won though?
Yeah, the guy with the one leg.
Guy with one leg.
Guy with the one.
Which I'll never
Mike or
forget.
something.
Because like my parents would watch that from the beginning, and I'm in the room with them, and then like I see this guy and Crush is coming out, and like they're like, yeah, that guy just won.
So he was from like Jersey or New York or something, but he actually was going to UTA on a scholarship for wheelchair basketball.
Oh, that's cool.
Kind of cool. But then I started reading about the history of it, and this Big Brother was actually adapted from a Dutch. It was originally a Dutch show, and then it went to Germany and Spain and a couple other countries in
Well,
Europe.
you get the origin of the name, right? It's like the George Orwell. Like
Yes.
Big Brother's
Big
always
Brother's
watching.
always
That's why
watching.
there's always cameras and
Yes.
microphones, and they just put you in there. They don't tell you what to do. You just kind of make the game up yourself, and what it came in is like lying, deceiving, talking, scheming behind their
That's
backs.
not what season 1 was. Season 1 was 70 episodes long.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because they broadcasted it 5 days a week back then, and it was nothing. It resembled nothing of what today's game is.
You said it took like 12 episodes to evict somebody.
evict somebody.
That's irritating. I could see why season 1 was probably a failure, and then they kind of shaped it up.
We need to
going forward.
Yeah, so it was much more of a social experiment and not a game.
That's what they've always said, and then to an extent, that's how it is. But season 1 was just
And there
like,
was
out of
no
hand.
power advantages or anything like that.
That makes no sense.
So I started season 2, and this is where you're starting to see the game take shape.
Yeah.
Even though they have head of household, they don't have power veto. They do have challenges, but it's like luxury challenges. So instead of eating slop, they have to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all week. And then if you win luxury, then you get groceries and all that. You get
That's something they've stopped doing recently.
Yeah.
Even a couple years ago, it could be like slop, but you could fans could vote in like you know, they have to eat
Season 12.
liver.
Season 12,
and
it was like
beans.
1 week, it was like broccoli and like baby food.
Yeah, it's always something weird, but you could vote in and be like, oh, that's nasty. I'm going to vote for that.
Yeah.
That was really good with fan interaction. That's when like texting was really blowing up, so you could, you know, get on there and always vote.
Yeah, so I'm watching season 2 in between, you know,
'Cause you
episodes
can't
of the
get
current.
enough.
I can't get enough, dude. I can't
We'll
get
talk
enough.
about the current season. What's going on?
Okay,
there?
so current season.
Frenchie is the absolute fucking wild card. He's such a terrible player.
So I feel like if Frenchie wouldn't have gone so fucking ape shit in the first week, he probably would have been okay.
He was the Mad King. He had, like I always told you, like it's good. I think it's a great thing to be HOH in week 1. Lots of people are like, I don't want a target on my back. I'm just gonna lay low. But if you get that first HOH, everyone comes to you. Everyone wants to make a deal with you, and you get to like pick and choose who you want to work with.
Well,
and you could say like, Matt, you know, like I'll keep you safe. You're gonna keep me safe next week. You can make little deals like that. He promised so many people safety. You know, he's like, I'm gonna target only meatheads. All the girls are safe. He had like those 3 other guys up top with him when they first started. He's like, no matter what, if I win, y'all are all
he
safe.
made too many promises.
Made
to
promises
many
to
people.
everybody, and he judged people too quickly before he got to know him. Like Brent, he's like, oh, he's a meathead. He's an idiot. I don't like him.
Brent was a solid dude.
Turns out Brent's a good guy. Yeah, and he's talking. He's like, oh man, now I can't put up Brent. I'm gonna go after, you know.
And then he tried to make an all-girls alliance.
Yeah, and they're like, how are you starting an all-girl alliance?
Yeah.
Frenchie, a farmer from Tennessee, a man, wants to come and tell us girls, and after he promised all the girls safety, he puts up a girl. So it's like he betrayed half the house because half the house are women. He betrayed Travis because he promised Travis safety. I mean, there's just more people. He made 2 final 2 deals, which you don't do. You can make 1, like you said on season 12 that you were watching. Those guys made like a deal like day 2, and they stuck to it.
So tell me if my kind of what I gathered is wrong. So, and I just have 1 season of reference. So it seems like either you need to power broker a deal day 1 and stick to your core, or you need to be a floater and kind of lay low until mid game and then pick and choose kind of who you want to attach yourself to. And if you can get, you know, into those alliances.
Well, and you can see it like divides into cliques. So like all the big muscular guys or all the pretty girls, they kind of gravitate towards each other. Like, no offense, but we'd kind of be like floaters at one point because in game 1, like day 1, they're going to see like, oh, that guy's a meathead, and they're going to form an alliance. And lots of times that works out. I think it's cool if you make a ride or die final 2 deal early on if you're that good of a judge of a character. The only thing with being a floater is like people could say like he's not even playing the game. And most people can be like, well, he's laying back and he's keeping a target off of him. But lots of people can perceive it as he's not even trying and they try to get him out. So there's just so much that goes into it, man. Like that's what I try to tell you. Like every episode, there's always something going on that's going to play out down the road. They'll do all these recaps and shit at one point.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think Frenchie, he went too hard.
Well,
man.
yeah, as I said, he was going to target Christian, but Christian won a wild card competition. So then he's like, oh man, I can't put up Christian. My plan's falling apart. So then he thinks Christian's flirting with this Alyssa girl. And he's like, the only thing I hate worse more than a meathead is a showman. So then he puts up Alyssa after promising all the girls safety.
Even though, like, yeah, they were
like friendly, flirty.
They were making a connection. They were in the
and it was like she's
process.
like, and you know, I told we and Claire talked about this. Like it's day like 3. You can be like a little flirty, but it's like there's no showmances on day 3 because after like 40 days in there, when you get to know somebody, like it is almost natural to gravitate and be like, you know, I've been in the same house with this person for a month and a half, and I really like them. There's people who went on Big Brother and are married now afterwards. Like their showmances actually panned
like
out.
Rachel,
Jordan, and Jeff.
Them.
It's really just Rachel. Rachel's pretty annoying.
Don't reveal any more to me because oh yeah, she's smart.
She's very smart.
Oh,
she's a
yeah.
good player. Jordan and Jeff are married. There's an older couple from like one of the early seasons, but that's what Alyssa. She was like, it's day like 3. Like I'm not, you know, trying to get with him. And you could tell Christian was kind of like, oh, we're just friends. Like just broke his little heart. And she's like, you know, I'm not trying. And he's like, and then Frankie's like, oh man, I messed up again. I thought they were showmans. This is the worst week. He just kept, everything was, oh man, I just screwed up. And it's like, yeah, because you rush to judgment every time something happens. He just immediately goes like, flips the script, 180, blows the shit up. So then, who is he getting? He gets out Travis, who seems like the nicest guy. He was a UT graduate. He sold his little startup company, tech company, and moved to Hawaii. And all he does is like surf and drink pina coladas.
Bro down.
Yeah, bro down. Total bro move. So he's the most laid back guy, but he's the muscular guy, you know? So he's like, I got to get out this meathead. He's not a meathead. He's the nice guy that happens to be fit. So he gets out Travis, which after he promised Travis safety. So everyone's like, Travis blew that game up. He told me, you know, like, I was promised safety by this guy. He backstabbed me. He did it to all these girls. So everyone's like, Frenchie's just a wild card, dude. You can't trust him.
And Frenchie's only hope was to try to win Power of Veto.
Yeah, so then Kylan wins HOH. Of course, everyone knows. So Frenchie's in there with Kylan trying to talk to him, trying to, like, get word, like, so what are you going to tell me? And Frenchie's like, or Kylan's like, you know, I've talked to a lot of people and I don't feel, because he's right. He's like, I don't have to tell you anything. Just because you ask me a question, I don't have to answer it. And Frenchie's like, red flag, red flag, red flag. So he goes in there. He formed an alliance called the Slaughterhouse.
And
after
he immediately blew it up.
he goes,
afterwards.
fuck the Slaughterhouse, I'm out. And he said that in front of everybody, which is a dick move because now you just told the people who weren't a part of it that
there was an
these
alliance.
people are in the alliance too.
And your only shot, in my opinion, is to try to get the Slaughterhouse to garner
you
votes
have
for
numbers.
you.
Yeah, you had the numbers.
Yeah.
So he had the numbers from the Slaughterhouse and this quote unquote all girl alliance. That's how he said, I'm going to cover my ass both ways. But once Kylan wouldn't tell him the plan, he just thought the whole house was turned against. He goes, y'all didn't think I'd figure that out? And then he goes and talks to...
We're like, what?
Yeah, they're going, what are you talking about? Because that's what you say. You're like, what do you mean? Like, because they don't want to blow up their game. And then he goes to, what's the girl tip? No. What's the girl from Portland?
My
Your
girl?
crush? It's not
Whitney.
Tiffany. Whitney. Then he goes into with Whitney and he's like, there's snakes in the grass and I need a big lawnmower. He's got all these stupid analogies and she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I figured it all out. This whole house turned against me and I'm, you know, like, y'all are going to get me out. I'm going to blow up this whole game. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And that's why they're like, that's why I told Claire, like, you can't keep him in because if he wins HOH next week, he's going to ruin it. He's going to burn the house down. So he was just so weird. He didn't think he would react to. He was such an impulsive reactor, which you can't be in Big Brother. If someone tells you something,
Especially
you go
early on.
You go, oh really? And you kind of let it soak in, and you don't show emotion. It's like playing poker for 90 straight days. You know, you can't show the
Your
emotion.
wheels can turn in here.
Oh yeah, but you can't. He would just blow up and be like, what? Oh well, fuck y'all. I'm gonna go blow up everyone's.
I
game.
really think Kylan played his HOH very well.
He did, and like he said, how that'll look good on his resume because you know it goes to a jury.
Yep.
Jury's vote. They're gonna go. Kylan played, you know, week 2. He got out Frenchie. That did everyone a favor, and he put up Frenchie's teammate because we're still in teams. That was one of Frenchie's allies, so he played it perfectly, dude.
Yep.
And then Derek X won 2 vetoes back to back. He told Kylan like, I'm gonna keep them the same, so we get Frenchie out.
Yep.
So they did. They got Frenchie out. Frenchie, even on his way out, he's like, you know, they had to get me. I was such a good player. They just had to get me out. And it's like, no, you're the worst player I've ever seen. And you're a total wild card.
It's crazy how quick it could change. Because, like, after week 1, we're like, damn, he won HOH. And
everyone seemed to like him, too.
Yeah, and then he won another challenge. Right after that, he won 2 challenges, didn't he?
And he looked like a heavy hitter. And
Yeah.
it looked like he had the kind of personality that people would like. He seemed like a down-to-earth, easygoing guy. But then it's like, but once it's that early, like I said, you have to lie. You don't lie on like day 3. You build everyone's trust, make it seem like you're Mr. Reliable, and then you backstab them all. That's how you play Big Brother.
Seems like you
can't betray the whole house in week 1.
You need to bounce around from person to person or group to group and get everybody.
That's why it's
to kind of
like you said, it's like politics.
Yeah, you just need
have to let everyone
like
like you, everyone trust you, and then at the end, it's like, no, this is my plan all along. Fuck y'all, I'm gonna win.
You got to shake hands and kiss babies, and you know, and then you've got to have a long game in mind. And then slowly just start to execute and pick off.
Exactly. And if you watch later on seasons, there'll be guys where you're like, I had no idea this guy was going to win or this lady was going to win. Mainly guys. There's only been like 2 or 3 women that have ever won. So I would love to see like one of these females win it just because it's a rarity.
I want to see Whitney win it because I don't want her to leave.
You want her to stay till the final day.
She is. And you were telling me this is one of the first seasons where you don't really have a crush.
Not really, man. I mean, there's like, you know, pretty people. They always get like handsome men and women, but it's like, I don't know, kind of like I go for like the edgy different girl.
Yeah. Kind of like Kristen from season 12, the one that was hooking up with Hayden. Do you remember?
Dude, this was 10 plus years ago.
Okay.
I'll just see a picture.
I got to watch more current seasons before I can ask
I remember
you if you
Hayden had
stuff.
a great head of hair, though. He's flipping that hair.
Yeah.
I liked Lane that year because wasn't he like an oil man from Texas?
Texas, yep.
Yeah, so I remember liking Lane, but Hayden played that great, dude, in season 12. He really did. He was the head of the brigade. Enzo and Lane. I think Lane was his ride or die. Enzo was like the third wheel.
Enzo thought he was the head, but really Hayden And Enzo,
But Hayden was a great player, dude.
He
You
was-
have to give him all the credit.
he was great.
He
No,
played it
he was
perfectly.
great.
I said he's probably on the Mount Rushmore.
I didn't like Enzo because he just coasted. He knew he didn't have to win challenges.
Because he had power. He
'Cause
had,
he had
protection
numbers.
with those guys.
He had
yeah.
numbers. Everybody liked him.
But see, that's why you won't win as a floater. You have to build that resume. Like right now, the two best resumes are Kylan for getting out Frenchie and Derek X for winning the first
Yeah.
two vetoes.
Yeah.
If they keep that up, they're going to be like, first of all, they're going to have a target, and they'll be like, maybe we should get these guys out. But if they were able to make it through, when you make it that far, you'd be like, look at everything they've done.
Yeah.
And the fact that they did all that and made it that far, even more respect, because they're like, they had a target on their back from week 1, but they somehow made it, to the final 4 or
Right.
final 3.
Right.
And it's like, you got to respect that. So that's where, like, building resume, long game, you got to think, like, I mean, people are already thinking 20 moves ahead. That's how Big Brother is. You have to think ahead. You always have to be thinking, like, who can you get? Who can you sway? Who would vote with you? And how, you got to think weeks ahead, dude. That's what I
Yeah.
love about it.
Yep.
It's
No,
all a game.
dude, all I do, and I pray nobody at work listens to this.
I know.
I just have Big Brother on my phone, and I'm, on my
Slapping the
computer,
keyboard.
just doing my work. And if something crazy happens, I kind of look down, and dude, I'm eat up.
It's
with
addictive,
it,
man. I told you.
I love it. So, what do we got coming up on Sunday? Is it
It's a nominations.
nominations?
Because Xavier won. It was a quick, like I said, sometimes they'll do like quick HOHs, like true false questions, because they just want to bust out and see who wins. You've seen endurance comps where they'll just be like, and we'll find out Sunday.
Yep.
Because it's a set schedule. Starts Wednesday is the HOH. Thursday, no, I said that all wrong. Thursday, we'll start with Sunday.
Sunday's elimination.
No, Thursday is live eliminations
Oh,
on Thursday. We usually find out the HOH. If not, you have to wait till Sunday. Sunday is also nominations. So Wednesday's power veto and then nominations. It's the same schedule. It's always HOH, veto, eviction.
Yep.
Those
Okay.
are the 3 simple steps they follow. But then they'll fill in all that time with because they're recording 24/7. So that's what I'm saying. They do a great job to edit.
And they show the politicking that goes on.
They
and
want to show all the gameplay.
And they show the little cliques that are happening and forming and the little
Which is important
romances.
because you have to see who's siding with who, because you'll know who they're going to vote, and you'll grow to love the competitions, man. Whoever
I
comes
love the
up with all of them
competition.
is a genius because they'll only do a couple of the same competitions every year. Other than that, they're all new competitions every year,
Season
and
2
it never gets old. Like they always come up with such cool stuff.
Season 2 is pretty lame. I'm only like I said, like 2 evictions in, but they're not very creative back then.
And see, I don't like the cast now because of social media. So all these people are like influencers, basically, that go on there, which I fucking hate social media influencers.
So, do you have predictions for who Xavier, the new HOH, might put up?
oh shit, they were talking Brent and your girl.
I know.
So it would make sense because they kind of saw them as a showmance.
Yeah, I get. I mean, I see that.
I don't think there's any real showmances right now. I think, like Brent said, he's a flirt, and he's going to flirt with
Whoever he thinks.
Whitney because she's pretty. He's not going to flirt with, I don't know.
Brittany.
I mean, they're all kind of
Danny
pretty.
DeVito.
Dude, that's who I see now.
And
is Danny
I
DeVito.
hate you for saying that because as soon as I was just like, man, that is the fucking penguin right there.
I know. But you know what? I kind of don't like Brittany after this week. Like, she was so emotional after
Dude,
she got
so
nominated with
emotional.
Frenchie, and I was saying, you're obviously not the target.
No.
No one's going to vote you out, but she made it seem like this whole house is against me. Fuck all y'all. I'm going to win this. And of course they don't win. They just get all heated. But it's like, you're up against the guy that literally betrayed the whole house.
What do you think
Why
French
are
is going
you
to
the
pull off the
target?
greatest comeback
Yeah.
in Big Brother history?
And you know what? I got to give him credit. Me and Claire talked about this. He really did campaign a lot. Because when you're on the block,
Yeah,
and you lost the veto, all you can do is campaign. He
Yeah.
went to everybody. He pled his case. He made it seem like by keeping me in, I'm the target. They're going to vote me out before they vote you out. So keeping me over Brittany makes sense. I was like, I respect Frenchie for doing that. Some people just
He
lay
fought.
down and die. Some people just mope around.
He fought.
He fought, and you didn't see Brittany campaign, and he got his one vote from Derek from Big D.
Yeah, his ride or die.
That was one of his ride or he had 2 final
Yeah.
2 deals, but I think Derek was his true ride or die.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's Big Brother talk. Do you want to carry us through how we're going to do movies going forward?
What about our
Did I miss something?
fuck, marry, and kill?
Oh.
Who you fucking, who you marrying, and who you killing?
Okay. Hold
You gotta
on.
pull up the
Let me
cast.
pull up
Well,
the
I know
roster.
who you're. The question is, are you just fucking Whitney, or are you gonna marry?
I'm
her?
going to marry her, so I'm
You're
going to
gonna
marry her and fuck her. Duh.
Exactly. That's a clown question right there.
Clown question, bro.
All right, so
hold on.
you gotta pull up the cast?
Yeah.
All right.
Radio.
You want me to go first?
Yeah. And what are they? Season 23.
Yeah, season 23 cast.
Season
I put
23
on here-
cast.
I'm gonna fuck Hannah.
Hannah.
She's the dancer who's like mulatto skinned. I think her dad's like
Yeah.
Sudan and her mom's like from
Yeah.
India or something.
Yeah.
She probably gets the least camera time of anyone on the show right now.
I see Hannah right now. Yep.
But
Gotcha.
that's
What,
what I
you're-
went with because I
you're
couldn't take
fucking
your
her?
girl. Yeah, I couldn't take a girl from you, man.
Okay. I appreciate
I
that.
couldn't touch her. She's yours.
I appreciate
All right,
that.
so who you
Who am I fucking?
intercoursing? Yeah.
Frenchie. Never mind.
You fucking Frenchie.
Alyssa.
Man, you really didn't
You know
prepare
what?
for this one.
You know what?
What?
I'm gonna fuck Claire. I'm gonna climb that tree. I think she's like 6'1" or 6'2".
Yeah, she said she was 6 foot.
I'm gonna climb that tree.
I just don't like her because she's a replacement for another contestant, and she's a big Survivor fan. Because I'm on that Big Brother Reddit page, and they posted all these images of her like in all her Survivor gear, and she's like, "Yeah, I got my watch party coming." I think she just wanted to be on TV.
No, I take that back. I'm gonna fuck Sarah Beth,
Oh, okay.
the
I
seamstress.
think she's like a closet freak.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at her right now. She's definitely a closet freak.
looking right back at you.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right.
Who am I gonna
Who are
marry?
you gonna marry?
I put 2 on here because I couldn't decide because I'm such a ladies man. Like I
Okay.
want to give everybody a chance.
You're gonna get your pick.
I put Alyssa because she's probably the prettiest one on there, let's be honest. But I also put Tiffany, the
Okay.
40-year-old
Mhm.
single mother black lady
Yep.
with her own business because she'll probably take good care of me.
Yep.
She'll bring home the money. What is it? What's it called where you're like a blood doctor? Whatever that is, that's what she does.
Phlebotomist.
She's a phlebotomist, which sounds very fancy,
Fancy.
and worth money. And I don't know, man. She seems really cool. Like she probably seems like the coolest lady there. So you know what? I'm gonna marry Tiffany.
Okay.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
dip my toe in that chocolate.
All right. I'm gonna marry Whitney.
It's a no-brainer.
No brainer.
I think are we gonna kill the same guy? I'm killing a guy.
You're killing a guy.
Out of context, I should say I'm gonna fictionally kill this person in this scenario.
Okay. Who are you killing?
I'm killing Christian.
Killing
I can't stand
Christian,
that guy.
huh?
He always his cultural appropriation with his braids, and then he puts
Yeah.
them up in little what are they called, like Princess Leia buns or
Yeah,
something.
I didn't like that.
He just seems like such a douchebag.
I
Dude. Like
didn't
if I
like
saw that
that.
guy at a party, I would just like sit behind. I would hold my beer up to my lips and talk so much shit behind my breath to him because that's how petty I am. I'm not
All right,
like this
dude.
fucking tool over here.
I figured it out. He's already eliminated. I'm gonna kill Travis because
Travis
you-
is the nicest
dude,
guy.
you should not. It should be illegal to be that fucking pretty, that successful, and that like just.
Dang, so you're gonna spite kill this guy.
I'm gonna hate. I'm gonna hate. I'm gonna hate kill him. Yeah,
Jesus.
you shouldn't be able to look at that. Look
Oh,
at
yeah.
that fucking beefcake.
Oh yeah, he's an absolute beefcake.
You should not be able to be that. Oh, you can either be good looking
or
or smart. You can't be both.
yeah,
You
he's like
can't
a
be
UT graduate, sold his company for probably millions, and retired to Hawaii.
you
You
can't-
know what? I'm gonna marry Travis. You ain't touching my man. That guy's got money. He's living on the beach. I changed my vote. I'm gonna marry Travis.
You
So my guy's
cannot-
protected.
You cannot be
Don't
that
you touch
pretty
my
and
man.
that smart. It's
You
just
can if
not
you're my
fair
man.
to regular fucking ogres like me. I look like fucking Shrek, and I have proof.
I have proof.
I
too.
have proof that I look like Shrek.
Dude, one day that should be the T-shirt with like Shrek ears. Holy shit!
And the font.
I would buy that shirt 4 different times, man, just to like have backups.
Oh my
That's the new
God.
shirt.
Okay, so
Yeah, fucking Hannah, marrying Travis.
Okay.
and I'm killing Christian.
all right, we're gonna take a short break, and we will be right back. And we're back. So yeah, no movie this week, but we are going to the new format going forward is we're going to each draw a movie out of a hat, cup, jar, whatever we got. And we are going to put that up on our Instagram so you guys can get involved and watch the movie with us. And we're going to do that every week going forward. So
We're gonna let y'all vote on it too.
we're going to
right?
let y'all vote
Yeah.
and decide what you want us
And
to
if it's
watch.
a tie, we'll break the tie. But
Yeah.
just to have it out there, so somebody might want to watch
You get
Little
involved with
Giants
us.
with us the week we watch Little Giants.
Okay. All right. I'm going to let you draw first.
I'll draw first, and like I said, they're both gonna go up. So, first one, Angels in the Outfield.
Oh, nice. Mine is, let's see. You had to use sticky notes, huh?
Well, I had to make sure it was closed.
The Austin Powers trilogy.
Okay, well, we could start with one, obviously. But
Okay, Austin Powers or Angels in the Outfield. I will put that up on the Instagram, on our
yeah,
Instagram.
put Austin Powers 1, obviously. And then, I don't even know if you want to do gold member. That's not so.
And you guys vote or drop in the comments what you would want us to watch. And we'll pick a winner. And if we don't have any listener involvement, we'll just pick
We'll
one.
we'll ask our wives what they think.
Yeah, we'll flip a coin or something. All right, so that's how we're gonna do movie talk going forward.
And if anyone has suggestions, we'll put it in this coffee mug. So
Yep, drop us a line.
I guess to Matt because he runs the Instagram page.
Yeah, or you can, if you got our numbers, text us and say, hey, what about this movie?
I would love to have a new friend. So if you got my number,
He's getting tired of me.
or if you need mine, just ask Matt.
Yeah, he's getting tired of me. All right, so let's move on to sports. Cowboys landed in Oxnard.
Man,
What?
I forgot.
What
I
you
had that adorable audio of Ellie to introduce her to Big Brother.
You want to play it?
I kind of do. You're gonna have to talk for a minute though, because I
Okay.
gotta find it.
So the Cowboys have landed in Oxnard. Training camp has begun. We're a couple practices in. It's a big one.
That's what she said.
Okay, going forward, this is how we're gonna introduce our Big Brother segment.
Everybody, are you ready to talk about Big Brother?
Oh.
So adorable.
And next time I'll have you hook up your phone via Bluetooth, and that way I can just.
Oh, that works better.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know this.
Yep.
All this technology.
No worries.
But we were sitting on the couch, so for kind of the context, like we were waiting to watch our show, and Claire was doing something for work, and I'm just sitting there with Ellie waiting, and she's like, "Hey guys, are you ready to watch Big Brother?" And I was like, "Holy fucking shit!"
Say
was,
that again.
Like, I am so proud of you for your initiative to watch Big Brother, and I was like, "Hey," get your phone out, right? I was like, "We're gonna record this, and we're gonna play it on the podcast." So we need to like save that audio clip so then when it's time, we'll just hit that button
Yep.
and you get to hear that sweet, adorable child introduce our Big
Yep.
Brother segment. But anyways, I totally forgot that, and I was so proud of her. I was like, if you asked to watch a Cowboy game later on, like I'm just gonna explode. Like those are the two things
may
that I love to
faint.
watch the most: Big Brother and Cowboy games.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
adorable.
but so we had Cowboys report,
Yep.
as Matt was saying.
Couple practices in.
I heard the defense is looking good, man. I heard it's our year.
No, but in all seriousness, they say the cornerbacks are competing.
I heard Nashawn Wright like just keeps surprising.
Boss Man Fat has also shown up and has turned some heads. And if you don't know, that's
Kelvin Joseph.
Kelvin Joseph, our second round pick. But Dak, if anybody has any worries about Dak, you can put him aside because everything I've seen, everything I've read, everything I've listened to, he's back. There was an exchange between him and Trayvon Diggs where Dak threw kind of like a sideline out, like a deep kind of fade out to the sideline, and Trayvon Diggs ended up picking it off, but it was out of bounds.
Oh, I heard that at press conference.
And so-
He's like, if you'll review the film, you'll see how he was out of bounds.
So they started chirping, and they were like, Dak is on the edge. He's at that stage to where all the greats get, like Kobe or MJ or
Yeah, that's-
Tom Brady, where they're right on the edge of being like so confident. It almost comes across as cocky, and he's just fired up. He's talking shit to everybody. You know, a lot of people think Tom Brady's this nice guy, but if you ever heard any of
He
his
is a
mic'd
fucking
up,
asshole.
if you ever heard any of his mic'd up, like he will MF somebody all the way up and down the field.
And that's what I hate, because when you'll see that on the sideline, they'll be like, look at Tom Brady. He's such a great leader, getting his team ready. And then Dez will be on the other side being like really kind of motivating guys. And they'll be like, look at this fucking diva Dez, like trying to berate his teammates. Where it's polar opposites, whereas Dez's like, we got to get back in this game. We still got a chance, let's just work together. And on the sideline, Tom Brady's just like, you sorry pieces of shit. I got to carry you, blah, blah, blah. But he's a leader and Dez is a diva.
I was more talking about like that competitiveness, chirping to like the other team. And that's
Well,
kinda,
Brady will cuss out a coach real quick.
yeah. Well, when you win 5 Super Bowls for an organization, like grants you some leeway.
Well, when you cheat to get them too, it kind of taints it a little bit.
But after that play where Trayvon Diggs picked him off, the next play they were chirping back and forth, and Dak was like, "I'll bet you $1,000."
That's some Michael Jordan shit right
Yeah.
there.
I'll bet you I'll put $1,000. I'm burning you on this next one, and then sure enough, he burnt him on the next
I
one.
love it.
So standouts, Michael Parsons is turning heads. They said he is just a freak. He's all over the field. He's flying around. CeeDee
I
Lamb
can see it.
continues to impress. They said he's put on probably 5 to 7 pounds of muscle, just some body armor, because a lot of his catches are over the middle, those kind of gritty.
He'd get lit up. He needs that.
You know, he's kind of bulked up.
And speaking of bulk or shredding down some weight, Zeke looking good.
Looks great.
Yeah.
I think he's down. He said he was down to like 216, 218,
Probably
somewhere
like
in there.
His rookie year weight, or like somewhere around there.
College junior weight.
Yeah.
Junior college weight.
And I've heard Tyron Smith still looks better than everyone without a shirt on.
Dude,
even though
they
he's a starting left tackle.
They said he looks like Zeus. Like he did a press conference, or he did a media scrum, and he was shirtless, and they said he just looks like Zeus.
Is he going to go down as maybe our second best offensive lineman in the history of the
behind Larry Allen?
Larry Allen.
Sure.
Well, then you got
sure.
Zach Martin right behind him, but Larry Allen, and I would put Smith because he's been there longer.
And then remember Eric,
and because of tackles, a more important.
Remember
position.
Eric Williams back in the day?
Eric Williams, I don't really remember him.
I mean, we had some great ones. Nate Newton, Mark Tuinei. I mean,
Andre Gerard before he got stepped on by Hainsworth. He was
Yeah.
a solid center.
Mark Colombo, Travis Frederick. I mean,
Ron Leary.
Yeah.
I love the fact that we just built this line to start with, and I think going forward, if we have talk later, like in the off season, I think that's going to be our number one priority for the draft next year is retooling the offensive line.
So
moving ahead.
So it started off, I think it was on Wednesday, with the I guess the guys on the fan have dubbed it the State of the Star address. It's Jerry's opening press conference of the year, and this year it was a little weird. Jerry got emotional.
Yeah, because Jimmy going in.
That and
that doesn't sound good.
That and I think he's kind of playing with or thinking about his own mortality, and he knows he's getting toward the end, and man, it's do or die. And I've got a clip here, and he gets emotional. It's actually pretty cool, so I'm gonna play it for you.
It's a beautiful world. It's a better world to be naive than to be skeptical and be negative all the time. I need it to be promising, and I need us to have a way to go. That causes me to do stupid things, or it causes me to do excessive things that sometimes really work. I worry about what's happening out here around the economy, the COVID, and I worry about our place in it in the NFL and where the place is in sports. I worry about that. But the thing that means the most to me and I care about, and I could probably be anywhere in the world I want to be right now. I want to be here with our team.
I believe him.
You know that
He really could be anywhere in the world, and I bet not all owners go to that first day at training camp like that.
some owners may not go to training.
Yeah, exactly.
camp.
Like, if we say what you will about Jerry, he loves the Dallas Cowboys. He might love money more than winning at times, which I do believe, because he hasn't brought in a real coach since Parcells, and before that was Jimmy. He's only had 2 legitimate coaches that'll kind of talk back to him. Everyone else has been yes men, in my opinion.
No, you're right.
But I really think that he loves his team, and I think you're right about like reflecting on his mortality.
Yeah.
He has good morality too. But yeah, I mean, he just knows he's near the end of the line. And I don't know if there's audio later, but he said like I would give anything in this world.
Well, and
for
he
one
said
more
it before. He's
championship.
like, you would be astonished at the check I would write.
Yeah,
you know,
I think he wrote something like that. Like I would, like
But
any
that's-
sum of money I would write.
That's what's so infuriating. Like, yeah, we know you'd pay the money, but you won't do the simple thing and relinquish the GM spot. That's something very easy you could do.
Yeah,
You could get out of the way and let
Will McClay.
And I hate when people say he's not a football guy, because
He won a national championship in college.
that, and then, but when you spend 30 plus years in the industry, at what point do you, if I've never owned a restaurant, yeah, year one, you could say I'm not a restaurant
But
guy.
30 years
but 30
later,
years in, you
know
better
what you're
believe
doing.
I'm a restaurant guy.
Yeah.
So I don't like the argument like Jerry's not a football. Jerry is a football guy
Jerry, like I said, he played on the 1950 something Arkansas national
with
football
Jimmy Johnson.
with Jimmy fucking Johnson. So that just tells you like he has been a football guy his whole
You
life.
know, Steven played football in college, you know, and
His
it's-
kid, or no, his grandkid,
John Steven,
he went to some major college.
He's at Arkansas.
That makes sense, yeah.
He
Arkansas.
won 2 or 3 state championships for Highland Park. He played in one of the
That
greatest.
is a definite football family.
He played in one of the greatest high school football games I've ever seen. John Steven did. Led Highland Park to a last-second touchdown in the 6A, the highest level of high school football we have here in Texas.
Probably the country, then, honest.
He led him last-second play to win the game. I mean, I got goosebumps thinking about it. I mean, it was a great game. Then you get the shots of Steven down there in tears, embracing John Steven. But yeah, John Steven's in Arkansas. They're a football family.
It's a football family.
I hate
for sure.
I hate the argument. Well, Jerry's not a football guy. Well, at what point do you become one?
Well, he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I know it's not for being a player or a coach or even a GM. It's a contributor.
But
he's
look
still
at
in the
all
Hall
the
of
innovations.
Fame.
Look at all the innovations
He's still
he
in the Hall
brought.
of Fame. He still won a national championship.
Say what you want about
took his team
Jerry.
to 3 Super Bowls.
He cares. We could be the Cincinnati Bengals. They don't even have a fucking indoor practice facility.
Oh, he's made this. I mean, he's took the brand and it skyrocketed.
Yeah, and it hadn't equated to wins or Super Bowls.
But you know what? I still love Jerry.
I love Jerry. It's gonna be a sad day when he goes.
It really is. Like, it'll be like in the back of your mind, be like, well, now we can get a real GM. But at
Well-
the same time, you'll be like, I fucking love that guy.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, and then you know that was the emotional side of it, and then you know Jerry becomes Jerry, and Jerry knows how to play a crowd. He knows how to work a crowd.
Oh,
and
like
he told
no
it. He's
other.
told a story about when he hired Switzer on, and they brought Switzer in, and Switzer walks in. He's like, "Hey, where's Jimmy?" And Jerry's like, "Well, Jimmy's already gone." He's like, and Switzer's like, "No, where's Jimmy? Get him in here." And he's like, "Well, Jimmy's gone." And then Switzer's like, "Of course, that's the wife." And then Jimmy's like, or Barry Switzer's like, "I just wanted him in here too to ask you two how you two assholes fucked this up so bad."
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What a great line.
Yeah, and he said the cuss words on the
yeah, I heard it get edited
on the press conference. So, you know, he get him.
He's right. How right is Switzer though? Like, y'all fucked up back-to-back Super Bowls
Yeah.
to bring me in.
Yeah. So you know he got emotional and it just kind of
Well, it's
showing
because he knows
both sides.
they could have won 4 to 5 Super Bowls in the '90s.
You know, and
but
that's just both sides of
stubbornness-
Jerry. You know.
Just being a stubborn, wanting all the credit,
Um,
took away a dynasty.
So yeah, we well, why is my phone blowing up all of a sudden? So yeah, we kind of get both sides of Jerry there. And then some of the standouts, CeeDee Lamb. Guys, do not worry about Dak Prescott. Everything I've watched on film, he's back. The ankle is a thing of the past. And Zeke seems like he's back. And speaking of Zeke, I got a little
offensive line.
clip of him talking about him and Dak, which made me laugh.
You know, I've been around Jerry Jones for a long time covering Dallas Cowboy training camps, and I've never seen him that emotional, but he says the
Wrong clip. Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, it means so much. You just look at the injury he had last year and how much work he put in to get back to where he is. And, you know, it's inspirational just to see the work that he went and put in every day. And,
Kid right there's never missed a start, Jim.
I mean, the
His
dude's
entire career.
he's a beast. He's a machine. He's a hell of a leader. I remember going to see Dak in the hospital. He was out of it. But he was just like, feed me, when he saw me. And that made me, you know, I was sad, but that made me feel good. But there was never a doubt in my mind that he was going to bounce back from his injury.
So that's a little funny story of him. Dak probably high as shit.
all doped up. And you just see
Feed
probably just doing a slow
Yeah.
hand, like feeding to his face.
So, and you look right there. I saw you looking at the computer. I mean, Zeke looks. I haven't seen him look that trim. I mean,
since his Ohio State days when he would wear that
well,
cut off
even
shirt.
that, like his abs weren't that pronounced. And there was a picture somebody took that he put up on his Instagram, and he is cut.
I'm probably tired of people talking shit like me
He is
because I
cut.
really thought, you know, I would, at one point, I would say he was the 10th best running back in the league. 10th to 12th. And if he's back and more involved in this game, like passing game, he's easily a, you know, top 5, top 8 running back
Yeah.
at worst.
So standout so far.
Like, I would love to be wrong about all my Zeke takes from last year, but last year, I know he's running behind a big line, but he definitely didn't perform.
Take a look at that.
Oh, yeah, he's fucking shredded.
He's shredded, dude. Even when he was wearing, the cutoff shirts and all that, his abs didn't look like that. So I think Zeke's back. I think Zeke is primed for a big year. I think we need Zeke to have a big year, just to pull that pressure. Because if you've got two threats,
you got 3 excellent wide receivers and a running back. I mean, they don't know where it's going.
No,
that's what you want to do is that confusion.
I think you're right. I think the talk got to him. I think he's matured.
Well, and he got a lot of unfair criticism, especially for me, like in hindsight, because I'll say when the quarterback's gone and the line's depleted,
what do you
all
expect?
they got to do is stack the box and say, okay, Andy Dalton's got to beat us.
Ben DiNucci beat us.
Ben DiNucci is we're not going to let Zeke beat us, so they just shut down Zeke. As a defensive coordinator, it makes all the sense to just focus everything on him, so he only averages 3.8 yards a carry. But that's because he was running through walls all year.
Yeah.
So to get Zeke back, to get the line back, to just spread it around now, and now you can just, do a draw handoff where it looks like, you're going to shotgun draw, hand off to Zeke up the middle for 20 yards.
And they say his elusiveness, his shifty side to side is there. The power's still there.
I'm just glad he took that direction because he got paid. He started to downgrade a little, and he could have just been like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to keep doing my thing and make my money. But he really was like, no, this is my job. I'm going to earn that money.
And I think
so. Him coming back strong is.
I think it's important because
awesome.
This is, and I could be wrong. Somebody correct me, but this is the first off season where he hadn't been in trouble.
At least something looming over him.
Yeah. Last year would have counted, but we had COVID, so that's a wash for everybody. I think he had a full off season. And I'm expecting big things.
I bet he was motivated by Dak too. He's like, I'm going to come back with
Look
this
at his buddy.
They come in the league together,
They're
which
best
is an
friends.
awesome fucking thing to happen. When Dak won that Rookie of the Year, Zeke went on stage with him. I don't think it was to be like a diva. I think he's like, this is my best friend in the league. This is my best friend. Since I've really located to Dallas, like I think they just grown to be like, just like you said, like best friends.
They've grown up together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In the league together, they both got paid, so now they're like. Now that we got our money, let's go win this fucking championship. At least that's how I see it. I'm not going to say like we're going to go out and win.
We say this every year. We always look great on paper.
I don't know, man. I really think this is our year.
To me, I'm not worried. I'm worried about the defensive line. I'm worried about the secondary, and I'm worried about Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy, I think he should be on the hot seat right now. And if we don't win 11 games and make it to, I would love to make it to a conference championship. Because even that's been elusive for 25 years. I don't think you could just make the playoffs and then not make it far. And because honestly, and I know we sound like homers, the talent's there
on the offensive side.
But
there.
Then you spent 8 fucking draft picks.
Yeah, but you can expect Micah Parsons.
I can expect Parsons and Cox to be 2 good linebackers to pair with either LVE or Smith.
I think it's going to be,
and then I think the young corners.
I think it's going to be LVE and Micah Parsons to start the year.
Perfect.
I think you can bring in Jalen and let him run downhill, attack the quarterback.
The only thing he can do is like a bull charging.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's all he can do.
And let Jabril Cox come along slowly.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't put too much on fifth rounder,
fourth
rounder.
Come
you can't
along
put
slowly.
that pressure on him. He can be a great special teams player for you.
And I just read that we are going to make the Malik Hooker signing official. I don't know what he can bring, but you do have Devontae KZ that came from Atlanta, who's familiar with Dan Quinn.
And I heard Keanu Neal's
a linebacker. He's playing well.
But why not play him all? Why not Swiss Army knife him and play him everywhere? Especially when he's familiar with Dan Quinn's schemes.
And that may be the case.
I think he's going to be more prevalent in this, but I actually like our bargain bin shopping we've done. Keanu Neal, Malik Hooker, and what's his KZ?
Devontae KZ.
Like all 3 good
he
players.
Had a year.
When they can reach their pinnacle or they can reach their top of their game, that's 3 good signings that probably cost you pennies on the dollar.
And going back to McCarthy, and this is why I subscribe to the I'm a member of the Church of Brian Broaddus. He's got some special insight on McCarthy because he did spend some years in Green Bay as a scout. He's still got several contacts up there. And the thing that worries me about Mike McCarthy that Broaddus touched on is that he really doesn't have the work ethic.
They talk about that on the fan.
He's not a John Gruden. He's not a Sean McVay where they eat, sleep, breathe it.
God, and wouldn't you love that? I think that and like defensive line help and a safety is all we're missing. A legitimate coach like a Dan Quinn. I wish the midseason they'd fire him, give Dan Quinn the job. Dan Quinn is like putting his hand in the dirt, and getting in guys' faces.
Well, I think Dan Quinn, I don't know if he's the answer. He's
the in-house answer. If it was mid-season, he's the in-house answer.
Here's my ultimate cream dream.
Is it still Lincoln Riley?
It's Lincoln Riley.
Does he eat, sleep, and drink it?
I think so.
You think so?
I mean,
I got to get it.
I don't know. Sure. I'd have to look at it, but he's got his team in the national college or in the college football playoffs every year.
Well, they kind of get an easy walk though. If he can do it in the SEC, well, that's going to be a few years from now. I was going to say he.
I just think that's the way of the NFL. You've got to let these young coaches get in.
And you know what? I don't even think you got to go for the big name. If there's an assistant coach for the Oakland Raiders that, like you said, eats, sleeps, and drinks it, or just anybody that I'm like the Sean McVay. Nobody knew who the fuck Sean McVay was. Turns out he's like a boy genius when it comes to offensive side and is always coming up with all this shit. And now that's who they want.
I want Lincoln Riley. I mean, we've tried the old NFL retreads. We've tried.
Well, and you just look at his past record with McCarthy. He's like 6-15-1 in his last 22 games or whatever. He just has a terrible track record.
And he got one Super Bowl out of
out of a generational quarterback, like one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time. He got one Super Bowl. And did he get one appearance or was it 2 Super Bowl appearances?
It may have been 2 appearances, but one Super Bowl for sure.
One Super Bowl, yeah. Imagine if Belichick only got one or Mahomes only got one. Like, this shit ain't gonna happen when you're that good. Yeah, he wasted that career and he lied to get this job. To be honest, he made it seem like he just stayed up in a barn and just studied football all year.
He didn't.
I've never been a fan of the Mike McCarthy hire.
So Cowboys camp in full swing. One thing we mentioned a couple weeks ago, but Hard Knocks is there. It's our 3rd appearance.
When it starts?
No, I don't.
I was gonna say, man, we need to have at least a couple episodes where we watch it and then just kind of immediately
break
talk
it down.
About it.
Yeah. We have the most appearances in Hard Knocks history with 3. So they're there. It's gonna be a circus. We've got the celebrities that always show up. It's just I love training camp. This is the time of year where I'm usually glued to sports radio. All day, but with my recent Big Brother obsession, I'm just watching Big Brother all day.
Dude, you're a monster.
Yeah, you told me you created a.
I thought you were bullshitting me for a while because you were so into it, and then you were like, "I bought Paramount Plus."
I did, man.
Okay, he's real.
I did. I can't find but usually it's.
It's gonna take a while to film, so they got some stuff to put on, and they got to edit it.
Usually,
I bet it airs before the season starts, though, right?
The first episode of the new Hard Knocks season will air Tuesday, August 10th, and the last of the 5 episodes will air September 7th.
That's what I figured.
2 days before the Cowboys kick off their season.
It's going to be like a short, So it's because it's training camp. They're not. Yeah. It's not all or nothing where they follow them throughout the year.
Yeah. It's a 5 episode deal. So August 10th, that'll have the first couple weeks camp and the first the Hall of Fame game
which
footage.
I can't wait for.
Me neither. What do you want to do? What do you want to eat that night? I'm gonna make some queso for sure.
Queso.
You want me to have Lauren just put together charcuterie board?
So nice. I mean, I'm good. I'll go pick up Little Caesars. I don't give a shit.
All right, you pick up Little Caesars. I'll have Lauren do a little board, and I'll make some queso. Boom.
Perfect.
Done. But yeah, so I just love every day hearing the reports. Amari Cooper, DeMarcus Lawrence, Greg Zuerlein, and a couple other players are on the PUP list to start camp.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Which I'm not concerned. I mean, Cooper seems like he's always fighting an injury. I'll be concerned come August or come September 9th when he's not out there week 1. But take your time. He's the number 1 receiver. He'll be ready. Come Tampa Bay. So that's Cowboys talk. Let's get in.
When's basketball? Before or after this?
Go ahead. Let's talk about the
be
NBA
real quick.
Finals.
I couldn't be more happy to be wrong on my prediction. I picked Suns in 6. To me, it all changed on that Giannis block in Game 4. If you remember seeing it, where he guarded Booker on the ball, going to the paint. Booker threw an alley-oop behind him to Ayton. So Giannis had to pivot on one foot, rotate 180 degrees, locate the ball, and block it. And I remember seeing that live and thinking that might have been the greatest defensive play I've ever seen, especially when you're talking finals or any playoffs. But one of the greatest plays I've ever seen. I told, everyone I could think of, I was like, that just changed the whole series right there. Like, I think right now Bucks are going to win it. I didn't know it was going to be 6 or 7, but I was like, Bucks are going to win this, dude. That was a momentous change of events that just changed the whole series. Next game, Game 5, you had late in the game, again, because all these games were pretty close. Late in the game, you had Drew Holiday strip the ball from Booker. They run the fast break, and he throws that alley-oop to Giannis. And then once he did that, Giannis was just –
that was ballsy. I mean, because you throw that ball out of bounds.
Oh, yeah. The way he caught it, his body was taking him past the goal. He had to catch it, like, leaning across his body to catch it and dunk it. But then he just flexed, and I was like, it is fucking over, man. That was Game 5 in Phoenix. And once they won that game in Phoenix, that was the first road game to win. So at that point, they won 3 straight. And I was like, yeah, it's fucking over, man. Like, I would bet my house on this. Game 6, Giannis goes off for 50 points. He's 17 of 19 from the line. Everyone said that's his Achilles heel. He manages to have, arguably one of the greatest finals games of all time. It was like 50 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks, couple of assists, and I just wouldn't be denied. The team only scored like 100 and I can't remember, 4 points or some shit. He scored literally almost half the points. Undeniable, like, finals MVP, one of the greatest finals performances I've ever seen in my life. Like I said, couldn't be more happy to be wrong, because once Giannis won and you saw his reaction, to not only do it for the city that took a chance on him, but, for his whole family. He's all about family. To do it for the whole country of Greece, and he's from Nigeria, so to immigrate from there, like, he did it, for all of them. And it's just the most humbling way, and the only thing I compare it to is when Dirk won the NBA Finals, because everyone loved to see Dirk win it, and Alexander Ovechkin. Yep. I felt the same way when Ovechkin won. I'm like, I'm so happy he got one. He deserves it. He was a lot older than Giannis is, but just to see Giannis win, and then Chris Paul just like immediately left the court and walked off, and I'm like, what a bitch move. And now they're already saying like Chris Paul's probably going to go to the Lakers because he's chasing a title. And, and Giannis talked about that. He's like, I could have taken the easy way out. I could have gone to a super team, or I could have done this. He's like, I'm not going to bring up names, but, I could have taken the easy way out. He's like, I wanted to stay here and win it for the city. And I'm like, I'm so fucking happy.
And his celebration was cool. A lot of guys, they immediately were in for a camera. And it was very reminiscent of Dirk. When Dirk won it, he went to the tunnel.
He was so emotional.
He just wanted a few minutes, just to soak it in, celebrate by himself. I don't know if Holger was there or not, but I'm sure he was. Yeah. Take a few minutes for him and Holger. And then Giannis kind of went to the COVID seats where nobody could go around him, and he kind of just sat down and just.
And he got emotional, so he put a towel over his face. Yeah. And then he finally like wiped it up, and he got up, and he was like, "Fuck yeah, man!" Now he's so excited. But it's the same way, like you said, because he just worked so hard for that, man. If you've seen his before and after pictures when he entered the league, I mean, I wouldn't say he's skin and bones because he was still pretty muscular, but he put on like almost 60 pounds of muscle. He built himself into a specimen.
Did you see where he was going through Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
He had the MVP trophy and the Larry O'Brien.
That's what I'm saying. Just
and he's like,
so
I need
cool.
a 50-piece.
With half Sprite, half lemonade, no ice.
And then he asked the girl.
I'm totally going to get that.
He was on Instagram Live, and he's like, are you okay with being on camera? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, you got 115,000 people watching you right now. And it was funny because, like, his broken English, like, I think he thinks everything is like McNuggets because he said, I need like a
McChicken or something, 50 McChickens or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And it was just really kind of pure, and it's hard, just like Dirk, not to root for a guy like Giannis. He's so humble. And
I told it to Alex. I was like, there's no way he's not the most likable guy, not only in the NBA, but maybe in all of sports.
Yeah.
Because it's not, I'll just say it wasn't on my list of what I'm listening to, but there's this, Adrian Wojnarowski.
Woj, yeah.
The Woj. He has something called the Woj Pod, and he did a 3-episode part. This is something Alex recommended for me. And it's called like the re-air. So they're re-airing it since he just won, and it's a 3-part about his journey, from Greece to the draft to where he is now. And it's just the most humbling thing. He's such a good guy. He grew up with 4 brothers and his parents. They said they grew up in a house that was like 250 square feet. Like they just slept on top of each other. He had to work in the streets just to feed them. He had to take everyone to school and bring them back. And all he wanted to do was take care of his family. He's the most likable, like humble superstar in the NBA, if not, the fucking world. I couldn't be happier for him.
Me too. Okay, so that was end of the basketball season.
Yeah,
that was great.
And no over under this week. I can't wait to bring it up. I think it's going to be more like a Cowboy segment. We're like who we're up against. So just rushing yards for certain players, passing yards, and what I'd like to do is do this every year or every week, and then say we have 10 or 10 over under bets, and then if you get 6 and I only get 4, you get 1 point. So at the end of the year, we'll see who has the most between the 17, and then we'll crown a little champion or whatever.
Cool.
But it's just a fun way to keep you interacted.
Winner buys Jersey Mike's.
Always.
Or loser buys Jersey Mike's.
I'll buy Jersey Mike's as long as we go.
Okay, so let's get into the this college football realignment craziness. So it came.
It happened
pretty
so
fast and
dude.
furious. Big 12 media week or media day was this week.
Actually, I have audio of the OU and UT commission. This is what they said when they want to join SEC. they were so ready, man.
So yeah, they were at AT&T Stadium for Big 12 media days, and then a week later, Big 12 leaders they're scrambling to preserve the league after the news that Texas and Oklahoma are on the verge of leaving the conference and they're trying to get into the SEC. And it's kind of telling because administrators from Texas and Oklahoma did not join the rest of the teams on the joint conference call to discuss, kind of league matters with the different athletic directors and school presidents. And there's been reports that if the SEC falls through the Longhorns, the UT might have at least one other option, which is the ACC, which was news to me.
That makes less sense than the SEC.
And there was a quote from an administrator that says, "I'd say Texas is for sure gone, and probably Oklahoma too." And all this is kind of money motivated because
it's all money
the
motivated.
SEC has a new deal with ESPN starting in 2025. The deal for the Big 12 ends in 2024. The two schools, they can pay a penalty to break the contract early.
They have the money to do it. Even without knowing the penalty, they have the money to do it.
Well, it's expected to be about $70 million each, or wait until the deal expires, which, that would create an awkward 4 years of athletics all around the conference with two lame ducks,
I don't know.
Two teams, two of your premier teams.
The two premier, not just two of, it's the two.
It's not a guaranteed move to the SEC because expansion calls for 3/4 votes of conference membership, so they need 11 of the 14 teams. And A&M obviously is the only school to publicly vote no because they want to be.
I love the pettiness because it's a recruiting edge. I get it
because they can go to these kids in Texas and say, "Hey, you want to play SEC football? Well, we're the only school in the state where you can stay in the state and play in the premier conference in all of college football."
It makes sense, and I just love that A&M's like, "Nope, fuck y'all, we're keeping this the same."
So, the Big 12, the remaining Big 12 teams, they have two options. Option one is rebuild the Big 12. And it says in the article, it says the goal is to make additions that would keep the conference among the Big Five, giving it more legislative freedom and, more importantly, retaining its tie-ins with the New Year's 6 bowl games. Those that make geographical and financial sense include Houston, Cincinnati, Memphis, and possibly SMU. There are other outliers that reign atop the group of 5, such as UCF, BYU, and Boise State. To me, that doesn't work.
Which one?
That
second group?
Any of those teams, because who are your big hitters?
I think Memphis is up and coming. They have a good football and basketball program. I like that. Houston has a great basketball and football program.
That's nowhere near Texas and Oklahoma.
Oh, I thought you meant if they were to stay in the Big 12 and recruit more.
That's what I'm saying. Those teams coming to the Big 12
to replace UT and OU.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't replace those two. I guess I misheard you. I thought you were saying if UT and OU stay, and they brought in additional teams.
No.
Oh yeah, you can't replace those two. No. Absolutely not.
No.
Because now your big hitters are Oklahoma State,
Baylor. maybe I have it wrong, or this article has it wrong, but that's not the way I read it. The way I read it is them rebuilding the Big 12
and rebuilding. Yeah, you're not going to be able to rebuild.
And the second option says it could reshape college sports. Panic and spook. Some of the Big 12 members could bolt from a league in shambles. The Pac-12 has 4 open spots to reach the 16-team mark. The ACC and Big Ten have 2 each. West Virginia is already geographically more aligned with the ACC, and Kansas is a basketball boon for any league despite its football failures. Baylor's men's basketball just claimed the national championship, and TCU has the Dallas-Fort Worth market.
Is Les Miles still at Kansas?
No, he left.
Oh, yeah, they've historically been.
I believe. So yeah, there's a final quote. It's not imminent, but there's truth that they reached out to explore the possibility of joining the SEC, says a Big 12 official. If they're gone, we start Plan B. So it sounds like Big 12 is fighting for their lives. And then I have another article that kind of gives, some different kind of updates and, just different little snippets. One says more confirmation of Texas OU are out. Chip Brown of Horns 24/7 reported Friday that the 2 Big 12 powers are indeed leaving the conference, citing a source. Brown says that the Longhorns and Sooners will not renew their grant of rights deal with the Big 12 when that agreement expires in 2025. Grant of rights is the agreement between each school and the conference that allows the league to determine television contracts. In this changing landscape of college athletics, this is what's best for Texas and Oklahoma, the source told Brown. And it's another one is it says potential Big 12 fallout should UT and OU leave. If Texas and Oklahoma do make an official move in the direction away from the Big 12 to join the SEC, some around the industry are already starting to suggest it would be a landscape-shifting event on the scale of the Supreme Court's 1984 decision that allowed schools and conferences to make their own media right deals instead of going through the NCAA. It's just I think this is just one move away from creating a super conference.
It seems like what they're trying to do, and to me it's just selfish and money motivated because those 2 teams leaves everyone else scrambling.
If I'm the Pac-12 and if they leave and join the SEC, if I'm the Pac-12, I'm coming in to scoop up Oklahoma State, Baylor, and Tech.
Tech makes a lot of sense.
They have 4 open spots, so maybe you grab TCU, Tech, Baylor, and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I mean I could see that.
But then if you're the Big 12 and you're scrambling, maybe Nebraska wants out of the Big 10, maybe Missouri wants out of the SEC.
Missouri makes the most sense if they had to leave the SEC.
But then you're taking it from 16 down to 15.
They could bring. What I saw was Oklahoma State and Oklahoma really want to go together. So Oklahoma State, and Texas to the SEC, and Missouri's the odd team out.
So another little snippet is it's kind of breaking it down from different reporters, and this is an article I pulled today, and it says Texas, Oklahoma to SEC in a week ? It says to update where things stand with Oklahoma and Texas after Thursday night's meeting of the Big 12 brass without OU and UT represented. There are a couple of reports circulating Friday morning suggesting that the move could essentially be done within the next week.
Kirk Bowles, so fast.
Kirk Bowles of the Austin American-Statesman reported that the move is quote-unquote almost done, citing a source. Bowles reported that the move could be official within a week. This thing isn't going away, and the ramifications are going to be significant. Will the remaining Big 12 schools look to make jumps to the Pac-12, Big 10, ACC? ? The long-discussed potential for 4 super conferences to emerge feels plausible. If things start trending in that direction, how will it impact the proposed expansion of the college football playoff? Because that's another thing. It's expanding to 12 teams.
Yeah.
So,
you're going to have like 6 SEC teams now.
Yeah. The format most often discussed has been one in which the top 6 conference championships get automatic bids. But what if there are only 4 quote-unquote power conferences? Would they go back to the drawing board on the college football expansion? All things to keep an eye on as this proceeds. So, I could see there being 4, kind of super conferences. You've got West, Central, North, and
Big 10, ACC, SEC, Pac-12, which would be Pac-16, Big 16.
let's just do.
They
this
shouldn't have
thing.
pigeonholed themselves with numbers.
Let's just do this thing with tiers. Let's make a super conference of 16 teams. 1 through 12 get in the playoffs. The last 4 get demoted to get relegated to tier 2.
So you're talking about like nationwide.
Yeah.
Like Ohio State's in there with Alabama and
Yeah.
Clemson and
Yeah.
OU.
You get a 16-team conference.
I would totally be down for that because
And
I
then the
love
top
that.
4
I love that. That
promotion
the regulation. Yeah, what they do in
relegation.
the soccer.
What they do in Europe. The top 4 teams.
And it makes a ton of sense. Keeps you competitive.
So
The top teams still make it, and the bottom teams you still get a chance next year.
This it's just crazy. I love it. You know me. I play NCAA 14 to this day. This is shit that I do. Like I take Texas State and build up the program, and then move them from the Sun Belt to the Big 12, and then once I win the Big 12, I move. This is just stuff you do in video games, and now it's coming to real life, and it's chaos, and I'm here for it.
I'm not here for it just because to me, like I said, it's selfish from OU and UT to say we're gonna leave. Fuck you, other 10 teams, and we're going to go make all the money. Because Oklahoma and UT, but really Oklahoma, like run the Big 12 in terms of football. They get a cakewalk every year to the playoffs. And who knows, once you fuck around and win a couple games, you're national champions. I hope OU gets their ass kicked every year in the SEC, and I think they will. I think they'll get exposed. And they did it all for money. They're going to screw over all these teams and leave every other team scrambling because they selfishly wanted more money for their schools, which are already worth billions. They get free labor from all these players.
Well,
they don't get in. Well, now they get a little bit from it, but for century they got free labor.
So let me read this last little snippet, and we can get out of here. But Texas A&M hopes to maintain its stranglehold on the Lone Star State within the SEC by holding off Texas from entering, while Oklahoma State is worried what will happen to the Big 12 and its place in the college athletics landscape if Oklahoma departs for greener pastures. Both programs have significant interest in keeping a move from happening, although they may ultimately be powerless in preventing the inevitable. Aggies athletic director Ross Bjork made his stance clear Wednesday. Quote, I haven't read the article, but if you're asking me to kind of comment on college athletics, it's changing, Bjork told CBS Sports. So what does that look like? I don't know. We want to be the only SEC program in the state of Texas. There's a reason Texas A&M left the Big 12 to stand alone and have our own identity. The Cowboys also stand in clear opposition with the following statement, quote, we have heard unconfirmed reports that OU and UT approached Southeastern Conference officials about joining the SEC. We are gathering information and will monitor closely. If true, we will be gravely disappointed. While we place a premium on history, loyalty, and trust, be assured we will aggressively defend and advance what is best for Oklahoma State and our strong athletic program, which continues to excel in the Big 12 and nationally. So, I don't think
I love how their in-state rivals are like, fuck you guys, you're not going to do this. Like, rivalries run deep in college football.
I don't think there's anything.
And, I mean, if it does happen, and, obviously I have no say in it, the SEC is going to be fantastic if it happens because we can watch Texas play Texas A&M.
I want that rivalry back.
Yeah, I am
great.
about that.
It was either Thanksgiving Day or the day after Thanksgiving.
I like the day after.
Year.
That way I can get all my football in that day and then have an extra day the next day.
Get leftovers.
I don't need all the games at once because I feel like I'm gonna have to miss something. So give me all NFL Thanksgiving and give me Texas A&M on the day after. So I just think it's selfish in a way. I think I'm not a big fan of the idea, but like I said, I have no way to stop it. So if it happens, I'll look for a silver lining, and to me, it's the Texas A&M game, which was a great game to watch growing up.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that's the craziness with college football.
And I remember you said it to us at first, and I was like, there's no fucking way that's true because it came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then before you know it, it's like just gaining more and more steam, and it's like, holy shit, I think this is actually going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It just happens so fast. And, obviously UT and OU are like conspiring on this together. It's not like they both came up with this idea in a week and dropped a press conference. Like, they've been working on this together to be like,
absolutely,
let's get in on this.
Absolutely. So that's college football craziness. I'm here for it. Sounds like Andrew's not, but we'll see what happens.
It's just a greedy move, man. It's all about money.
It's America. What do you expect?
I expect a little more dignity.
Not here.
Maybe. Yeah, you're right. What am I thinking?
All right, so let's get into what are we watching and what are we listening to. I'll go real quick. You probably guessed it. I'm doing nothing but watching Big Brother. I haven't listened to any. I didn't update the podcast app once this week. I don't know what dropped. I don't know if I'm missing episodes somewhere. I'm sure I am. I'm just so engrossed in Big Brother. Like, even at the office, like, I see a coworker going into the boss's office. I'm like, what are they talking about?
What those cocksuckers doing?
Are they conspiring?
It's an alliance.
Yeah. Is he trying to get a promotion?
Now you know how I've been living my life. Like the last like
Decade.
20 years. I'm so paranoid, man.
But yeah, no, I haven't been listening or why. I've been listening to The Fan to get, Cowboy Reports.
He's been ignoring Lauren. Landry's been neglected.
I was watching the episode last night.
Is Lauren into it a little bit?
Well, I was watching the episode last night, and she was like, I thought we were supposed to watch this together. I was like, you're not dedicated enough.
See, Claire would be pissed if I did that to her. Like, we'll have to have a watching party when Lauren can stay home and we'll watch it together.
Yeah. So, but
I
no.
can't wait for you to catch like the Zingbot episode. Now you'll get it.
I saw Zingbot in season 12.
Like,
so good.
It's just a robot that just comes in and makes like really personal but really specific
Dude,
burns
it was
on
so
people.
good.
As I'm telling you, like he'll get you down to your core. He'll
So-
find out what you hate most about you and make fun of you for it. And he's a
So,
fucking robot.
He came in, and Lane from season 12, he was like from Texas. And the thing about Lane that I think helped him is like everybody thought he was a big dodo, like he's a big dummy.
Right.
And Zingbot comes in, he's like, they say everything's bigger than Texas, other than your brain, Lane. Zing! It's so
I'm telling
funny,
you, man. It's like he just sits there and studies all year, and then he'll be like,
randomly
I just
pop
picture
in.
this robot like writing down these great jokes. I
It
love
was so good, dude.
Well, I'm glad you get Zingbot now because, like I said, me explaining it last year sounded fucking weird. I'm like, no,
Sounded
it's
like
a
an
robot
acid trip.
that comes in, and last year he was dressed up as what's his name from Tiger King?
Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic. So he was Joe Exotic, but the Zingbot, he'll come in like all dressed up and all these. It's just fucking weird, man. But I guess is it my turn? You're not listening to anything.
No, dude,
You're
I'm
just,
not.
Just
It's
engrossed
your
in Big
turn.
Brother. All right, on Hulu. Claire really likes these shows, man. I've talked about Court Cam TV. We watched that, but now it's Body Cam. So it's like police officers that activate their cameras, and there's just like some wild shit on there, man. Like I know cops go through a lot, and they'll show you like everything. Like we'll watch an episode, and it's usually like an hour long, and there's like 3 or 4 incidents, and then it's like there's like 7 people that died like in one episode, and it's like multiple mass shootings, and it's just like all the crazy shit they go through. So it's just wild. Like Claire loves that kind of stuff. She loves that real world, like, oh man, that guy just died right in front of us.
Yeah.
She kind of likes all that. Another one on Netflix was called Fire in Paradise. It's like only like a 45-minute documentary, but it's about that 2008 fire in Paradise, California.
Mhm.
So that's why it's Fire in Paradise. It was actually just called the Campfire, which is a very lame name. They always give them like like the Thomas Fire.
Yeah.
This was the Campfire, but it was the deadliest fire. It was the deadliest and most destructive wildfire in California history. Caused over $16.65 billion in damages, over 8,800 buildings destroyed, 153,000 acres burned, and 85 people died. It was just fucking crazy because it's like, I guess everyone had a camera rolling. 2018, everyone's got a camera and a video, and it just started, and before you know it, it just like swept over this town, and I mean, the whole town just got destroyed. And we were talking about, how bad tornadoes are, but tornadoes follow like a path. And your house could be gone, or your neighbor's house could be gone, and you're untouched. Those fires, man, they take everything with them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so destructive to see. And like and then later on, we looked up on like Google Earth, and you could see like the aerial, and they slowly rebuilt. There's some buildings there, but everything else is just still just like concrete slabs, And what happened, I should say, well, I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to tell you how they actually survived it, but it was actually ingenious of how they came up with a way to survive it. And with Ellie, she wanted to watch the remake of the Aladdin movie, so I started giving it a chance. I was like, I really wanted to like it because I love the classic. I couldn't get past like halfway of it, man. Like Will Smith, I love Will Smith, but he fucking sucked as the genie. Probably because Robin Williams killed it, but I could not get halfway through. And even Ellie was like, "Can we watch something else?" Like fucking God, yes. I was like, "This is the cringiest thing I've seen." I couldn't stand it, man. So we watched The Jungle Book instead, the live action remake. Now that is a fucking great remake. I couldn't recommend it high enough. Even if you don't have a kid, even if you didn't like the original, watch this one. It's from 2006. It has Bill Murray as Baloo and Christopher Walken as King Louie. That's all you gotta know right there.
Nice.
And it's a great story. Like, it's a great retelling of a classic. So Jungle Book remake, couldn't recommend enough. Listening, 2 things that Matt recommended earlier. Like, I don't know, earlier. It's not like it was 10 minutes ago. Months ago was Exit Scam, about that Canadian Bitcoin guy that supposedly died in India, but you find out all these things like he's been a Ponzi schemer since he was 15. He flew all around the world, which they think was to plant money in all these different places. He was a trained pilot, trained helicopter pilot. He bought a yacht, and they're like, that's how you can stay undetected, is you have your own transportation. So, and he had like $215 billion in this key that like, it's like a whatever 64-digit code that only he had that now they can't find. And the money disappeared. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. He's been a Ponzi schemer his whole life. Missing on 9/11, which is just a weird situation where like this lady who had all these things going on in her life, and then literally on September 11th, 2001, she up and disappears and no one's seen her for 20 years. But she has all these things in her life to where like maybe she's survived and maybe she just took this opportunity to disappear. So both of them are just really intriguing. Like there's no definitive answer. It's kind of like pick, listen to it and you make your own judgment as to what you think happened. And lastly, it finally wrapped up a week ago. I've talked about it before. It was season 3 of Gangster Capitalism. And this season, every season's different, and it's just like an investigative, and it kind of like dives deep. And this one was about Jerry Falwell and Liberty University. And if you don't know anything about them, I don't have enough time to tell you about it. Just listen to season 3. It's probably the greatest season of any podcast I've ever listened to. That's like high praise, but season 3 of Gangster Capitalism was just, it's like 8 episodes, and from start to finish, it was just so fucking good. Couldn't recommend it enough.
All right, that was a good one, man. Good one to come back to. Sorry it took us so long to get it out.
Well, we got almost 2.5 hours. So
without a movie
we made
review.
up for it. Yeah, we didn't even review a movie. That's the thing. So, Angels in the Outfield or Austin Powers 1?
Yep, we'll put it up on the Instagram, and we'd love to get you guys to help us out and get
Buy
involved.
some merchandise.
Buy some merch. The link is in the Instagram. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. But for Matt,
and I'm Andrew.
We're out.
Look at that timing.
Oh, still recording.